Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? This Good Friday. Is the day good to you? We changed it up a little bit today. Everybody, we changed it up at the last minute. I came in later because I am exhausted today. And I also see Crime Time Buzz is live, and I know a lot of people are following her as well or over there. So yours truly is honestly just too tired to do readings today. So I thought we would talk about the leaked call that Justin played, I guess the night before last or yesterday, between Heather and KP and CP. And then I thought we would talk about who threatened the judge and listen to some videos. And then what's going on with this RICO case? So that's what we're going to talk about today. What's going on with the RICO case? There's a creator out there that was reading the results, the legal decision, and she proved it that Seth and Dog called her, or Tony rather, Seth and Tony called her during her live to interrupt her, to tell her to stop reading it. And I'm just, I'm sitting with why. I'm sitting with why. I think I know why. And I think it's because this case has become divided in the dark versus like the evil versus the light. And I think so we're going to talk about it a little bit more, but not going to talk about it a lot. But I think what I would say to this creator, and again, I'm not bashing, and I want to also talk about that. I was not bashing Duchess last night, because when she was interviewing them, that was the very first interview. Nobody knew what we know now. So truly hindsight is 2020. And so she came from it with a very naive perspective, first interview, and talking to people that had just lost their children, in her opinion, at that point. So, I want to be careful, because that's going to be a rule for the mods, that we won't be bashing people intentionally. We can have opinions, but not in a negative, low vibrational way. So I just want to be clear. When I say this creator, I'm not attempting to bash her. I would, if anybody follows her, because we're going to go and watch it a little bit later, not just a little bit of it. That'll be the part 3. I just would encourage people to remember that there's people being attacked and bullied in this case. And highlighting anything that is in favor of those people is just not smart strategy-wise. Like, I think as much as people say they're neutral and want to be neutral, I just think it's gotten to a point where you should have get off the pot. Excuse my language. Pick a side. Pick a side. You're either for Sebastian and you're for the people that are looking for Sebastian, or you're on the other side. That's just kind of what I've come to. Yes, I can not like everything, all the decisions that Seth makes, but the bottom line is I don't think he had anything to do with this. I think he loves his son, misses his son, and he's making the best decisions that he can. And who the heck are we to decide? We're not in his position, ultimately. And he chose Tony and Dog. And man, while again, there's some things that I may not agree with how they've handled it, who am I to say? What kind of recognition would this case have if it wasn't for Dog exposing it, nationwide, right? Worldwide. I mean, people in Australia are following this channel. So I would just caution the people that are assuming that them telling her, hey, slow down, get off the live, is not necessarily nefarious. Doesn't have to be nefarious. Maybe it's just like, can you think about foot in mouth you're about to do? Because you're just giving ammunition for the dark side. And I've never met Brittany. She doesn't even know I exist. But I have felt incredibly sad for her and worried for her. Uh, you know, it's just, and so we're not talking drama, but I want to talk about these things tonight. And I want to hear what you guys have to say. And I want to talk about Bullhorn's situation too, because it just seems like, what the TF? What effing planet are we living in where YouTube ignores, and I know they ignore and dismiss complaints and let the bullies keep bullying, where the things that were said to Brittany are so disgusting and vile that if this was the workforce, there would be sexual harassment charges and God knows what else against some of the things that that man has said. What makes a public forum, and this being a place of business, because YouTube created this space where we're supposed to share other people's content and mix and match. It's to their benefit. This is a business for a lot of people. I'm making it mine. Brittany's made it hers. And so have the people going after her. What professional world would allow that to happen? So, and then to have judges, I don't know this case, and I don't know the merit, and I don't know the evidence they have. And I know, though, that the bar for RICO cases is extremely high. Extremely high. But it just seems like something is asked TITS backwards here. Like, what the TF? This is the stuff that just, brings me to a boil, because the justice system, there's a lot of freaking improvement needed, man. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and hopefully I'm not going to rant, but man, I was fired up yesterday too. I just was fired up yesterday too. Like I just for the first time, I was just like, because I have not listened to these interviews, right? And I was just so wanted to jump through the computer, my laptop, and just like literally slap him. Like like violence doesn't beget violence, and I probably wouldn't, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just so that angry. I just like, man, it just so like, where's Sebastian in all this? Where are, I'm so fed up. I'm so fed up. I'm fed up with the justice system. And I guess because having lived the other side of it, of just being ignored by the justice system, not getting justice, I know it's the dire opposite. But in this case, I feel like Sebastian's being ignored. I feel like Sebastian's not getting justice. It's like Bullhorn said, man, oh man, I'm going on a rant. Sorry, y'all. I haven't even said hi to anybody. I guess I've just needed to get this off my chest. I guess I've just needed to just, sometimes love and light means being a warrior and just expressing your disdain with the effing system. And I just, these judges, like, get your morality, man. What that TF? Did y'all hear the clip? That tell you one thing is anger. I know. I know. Did you hear the clip about from the news? I guess I should pull that up. Did you hear the clip where the news was reporting on Bullhorn? And all you can hear at the very end of the clip, and that's why Betty, she mentioned it too, was like their lawyer saying that the hashtags she uses is what they consider to be her harassment. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, hashtags on YouTube do not tag a person. Like, oh my God. It's just too much. It's just too much. And then the fact that's not even a factual basis is the premise for enough evidence to go, whether you like Bullhorn or not. This is about freedom of speech. and freedom of rights. And the fact that that had enough evidentiary evidence based on something that ain't even fact is very scary. Very scary. Wow. So yours truly thought, since I'm not feeling great, I'm in bed. I am moving, by the way. And so I've been decluttering and yeah, anyways, I'm just laying in bed tonight. I thought we'd just go through some videos. So let me see. So no readings. And truth be told, I want to be more consistent with the lives. I love the lives where we get to interact. But I cannot do physically, my body could not do 3 hours of readings 7 days a week. It's just not going to happen. And so that's why I haven't doing it. So I think what we're going to do is we'll I know, Tina girl, I know. So I think what we'll do going forward is I would prefer to show up consistently on the lives. And so on the days like this when I'm tired, we'll just talk about the news and, whatever, like the updates on the case. And on the days that I do readings, those will be the ones that are the review of the interviews. Those will be the ones that have the episode numbers on them. So episode 2 was what I was originally going to do tonight. I was just like, I can't, I'm too tired. It was going to be your questions with the cards that you all had based on the first interview we all watched together with Duchess. Because that was a long interview and it took us a while longer to get through than I thought. And a lot of people hadn't heard it. So we're going to move that to Monday because I'll be off tomorrow. I'll be off Sunday. So we're going to move that to Monday, 4 or 5. You'll have to look at the time at the notifications, 4 or 5 p.m. Monday. We're going to go back to that. So whenever I do the readings is when I'm going to introduce a new case. I already set that aside. It was recommended by Kitty, and it's what's her name? I forget it already. Oh my God, Leanne. Hang on. Gracelyn Vick. So we're going to do a new case, Gracelyn Vick, on the days I do readings. And on the other days, we're just going to talk about the news, like in the case updates, and try to keep it as drama-free as possible. But the topics tonight, while they are kind of drama, I would say, I don't normally lean into these. I think they're just conversations that we need to have about the justice system. Like, how do you all feel? Like, seriously, about whether you like Bullhorn or not. Like, how do you feel about this? Does it seem to you, based on, I think we're all a pretty objective group here, as much as we are in favor of Sebastian and the Green Team, I think on the most part, like, does it seem like there's justice going on? Like, I mean, tell me now in the chat, what do you think? Do you think that this feels like a justice is being served here? That, I don't know. I mean, if they lose this RICO case, I know it is, Kitty. It just is. It just seems to be very, very political. And yeah. And so just so you know, normally I put your comments up on the screen, but I'm not going to do that tonight just because I think I'm going to put, I just want to make sure that we don't get anybody, in trouble. But yeah, it just seems like plain old bullying. It sure does. It sure does. And then they got to the witness stand and said nothing but lies. And where are the perjury charges for under oath? I know. I know. So we're going to talk about, anyways, let's just get into it after I say hi to everybody. I think I've talked long enough. I think I've talked long enough tonight. Oh, it's a different intro than you're used to, everybody. Oh, and also, sorry, I forgot a couple of other things. I did write down notes, but just talking and not even looking at them. I got copy struck, even though I pulled up a free meditation video. I got copy stricken on our prayer. So the prayers, thank you for doing the likies, and say hi to the mods, everybody. Hello, Virginia. Thank you for being here. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, so the prayers, again, they will only be on the lives because it never fails. I get a copyright strike even when I pull up what they categorize as free. So it's just they'll only be on the lives, and then I have to just cut them out. That's why they have to stay at the end. So hi everybody. So I'm not gonna say to hide everybody one by one. I'm sorry, y'all. I usually do. And um I don't mean to not catch up with everybody, but I just I think we just get going. I just want to say thank you out to all of you for being here um and supporting me. Truly appreciate you. And just treat the mods with respect, please. They don't get paid for this. And the mods, make sure everybody's no bashing. We're light and love in here because these are going to get, if we get more people, we're going to go to Crime Time Buzz. I want to see what she has to say too. I forgot to mention that. We're going to do that. She's live now. She's talking. Seth has talked to her about, I guess, with respect to this Rico stuff. I think, Seth's doing a bit of damage control. And so that's what I'm guessing. I don't know what we'll go there and we'll listen after if you're here for the whole time. So I hope I've said everything. So going forward, 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern, probably not Saturdays. Eventually, when the membership gets higher up in numbers, it's $199 now. I reduced it. And so if you were a member, you're going to get a credit from YouTube, and then you have to sign up again at $199. I've got the Learn Tarot and the 30 days to better intuition. There's 30 days of exercises, developing your third eye and your psychic abilities for $199. And then I'm going to start adding card of the day, but I do have to move, and I got to get my deck done. And so it's going to be a little while before that happens. But so if you lost your access, that's why. Okay. I think we're caught up finally. So every day, except for Saturdays, when we have enough members to justify a live, I'll do a members live Saturday morning. No worries, Whispering Wind, sweetie. I know you were over. Nice to see you. And say hi to all the mods. I know you were over live on Crime Time. And I was just telling everybody that I'm just going to play later tonight. We're doing a different format. We're going to just talk tonight because I'm not doing any readings. And I know she was talking to Seth. So I just want to hear there was a very brief message about Seth's message to everybody. So I think we want to minimize the negative talk about the Rico because they really are in a battle. They really are in a battle. They're in a legal battle. It's no joke. We're talking a lot of friggin' money. And I don't think we want to give ammunition to anybody that's dark. So I think they just want it to just fly under the radar. That's how I think. That's a strategic, the coach in me, the strategic analyzer mindset. And yeah, I don't think they have, I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, if I was going to court, you know what I mean? I just knowing the trial world and being a strategic and whatnot, self-employed for 25 years now, it just doesn't make sense to highlight it. So anyway, okay. Not if you're on the good side. These people don't need any reason to make it worse. Okay, so let's start with enough said. We're going to bring up Justin, and I'm hoping that he's going to be okay with, I forgot to create a, oh, yeah, I had everything else ready, but I did forget to create a credit for him. Clutch them pearls. Did you all hear that call? Did anybody hear it? Well, we're going to listen. So hopefully you're not going to be too bored if you did. I know, we're all for Sebastian here, exactly. I cannot figure out how to get the hearts. Like, man, I gotta edit, like, I gotta edit. I can't even edit in StreamYard, it's so frustrating. I could not copy the green hearts in the chat right now. I cannot copy them, and I can't figure out how to. I'm gonna have to copy and paste them on a different document so I can paste them in the chat. I don't know. Maybe it's because I have the free StreamYard. I don't know. Okay, let's get into this. Let's listen. It's long. It's long. So we'll see how long it takes us. I think it starts just a couple minutes after this, or a minute after this. Can y'all hear? Okay.
An opinion is not a fact at all. Okay. We got that covered, right? All right. So I obtained a little over 14-minute call from way back when thank you so much, Hot Wheels. Appreciate you, my dear. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. All right. So I obtained a call. It's about 14 minutes. This call took place around the time that the what was the time Edgar went up there and started screaming with Seth while the PIs were out there? Web sleuths. Around that time this took place. I think it was, give or take, around that time. Oh yeah, Kimbo. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to play that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of the public interviews that have been out and kind of compare them.
That's what we're doing. But we're doing it with cards.
When isn't he not yelling? Well, that's a good question as well, right? Pamela, thank you so much. Welcome.
Okay, I think it starts right about here.
No.
Whoops.
And thank you, Veronica. Really, are y'all ready for this? Because it's something, and it only, in my opinion, kind of goes downhill as the call takes place. Again, I will give my opinion on it. Again, it is just my opinion. You are free to form your own opinion on how you interpret this as you see. Okay, here we go. Let's get it started. All right.
Right. I'm not asking you to tell me what's right. I'm asking you to tell me what you actually know.
About the situation. Okay. Right there. Right there. I'm not pulling cards, but I'm going to tell you what I think. Sorry. Don't mean to interrupt already. But that is suspect, in my opinion. I was in sales for 25 years, and I won international awards. And let me tell you, and I wrote a book, and I trademarked a sales process that doesn't include being, hey, Sharon, does not include being salesy. Okay. But I know a lie on top of my intuition like a mile away. I know deflection. I've negotiated with the best of them. This here is something important. Going back. I'm going back. I gotta get good at time stamping because
and thank you, Veronica. Really to
hang on.
Y'all please welcome in. Kind of goes down.
Jesus, Leanne.
He knows, and I'm sure in my opinion. So I take this person
trying to get
to play that.
Hang on, y'all. Hang on, Leanne. I keep forgetting to like figure out what time it is.
Kind of goes downhill as the call takes place. Again, I will give my
Oh,
opinion
no
on
worries,
it.
honey.
Again,
You
it
just
is
missed my
just
rant for 15
my
minutes.
opinion.
No worries. You missed
You are
nothing.
free to form your own opinion on how you interpret this
Yes.
as you see.
Ditto. Everybody's got their own opinion.
Okay.
But I'm telling
Here we go.
you, that is
Let's
something.
get it started.
I want to hear it again because that's something.
All right.
Right. I'm not asking you to tell me what's right. I'm asking you to tell me what you actually know.
Actually, no. Okay. That to me is like, there's something about that tells me, did Seth tell you everything? I know, don't throw hate at me. Do not throw hate at me. I'm just telling you what I hear. I'm just telling you what I hear.
Are y'all ready for this? Because it's something, and it only, in my opinion, kind of goes downhill as the call takes place. Again, I will give my opinion on it. Again, it is just my opinion. You are free to form your own opinion on how you interpret this as you see.
And I love Seth.
Here we go.
It's not what I'm
Let's
saying.
get it started.
Something is not right there. He wants to know
All
what
right.
if she knows the truth.
I'm not asking you to tell me what's right. I'm asking you to tell me what you actually know.
About what you actually know. There's a change in tone.
Situation. Set you down and could have told you from start to finish where he's at and what he knows, right?
Where he's at
Yeah, and there he's fishing.
and what he knows.
What he's
No.
upward. Okay, when you have an upward deflection, don't forget, I trained salespeople. When you go upward in your deflection, right? That's because you're uncertain of the answer. Okay. If you say right, that's because I know the friggin' answer that's about to come out of your mouth. So we're going to learn a little bit differently here today.
Up with me last night.
Okay.
What was the time question
I'm going
as well?
to use
Right?
my business experience.
Pamela, thank you out for you. Number one. And number two, if he knows. Are y'all ready for this? The P opinion. You are free to form.
I'm going to let it play for a while now, but
how
that
you
is way more important
interpret this as you see.
in my opinion.
Okay, here we go. Let's get it started. All right.
Right. I'm not asking you to tell me what's right. I'm asking you to tell me what you actually know.
About the
Could have
situation.
set you down and could have told you from start to finish where he's at and what he knows, right?
Where he's
He
at
doesn't
and
know
what
the
he
answer.
knows.
He doesn't know the answer.
No. He should have set you down and told you every single thing from day one to where we are at now.
So,
God,
right here.
why is he so condescending? This is the PI looking for your son. What is wrong with you? Shake your head.
Edgar is saying to the PI that Seth should have sat the PI down and explained everything that he knows. And I'm sure, in my opinion, that he would have, he's the father of Sebastian Rogers, and I'm sure he would have said everything that he knows. However, it's not so much what he knows. That's why, I mean, you obviously need to fill your private detective in, but it's what they can find out for you, number one. And number two, it's what the most important part of that is getting the information from the mother, KK, who says that she was home alone with her son, Sebastian Rogers. So I take this in my opinion at least, as him wanting to kind of find out perhaps what the PI knows.
Yeah, that too.
Well, I mean,
he doesn't
Oh my
know.
goodness, Angel, thank you so very much, my dear. That is so generous of you, girl. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you, honey. Gifting 10 Pearl memberships. Thank you so much, Angel. I really do appreciate that, honey. If you received one of those 10 Pearl necklaces memberships, make sure you give our beautiful Angel a big, big thank you. Very generous, beautiful Angel. Thank you so much for your continued support. I really do appreciate that, hun. So good to see you, my dear. And thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much, honey, for 4 months. Good to see you, Miss Lisa. Much love to you all. Thank you so much, Miss Lisa. I think it's been more than 4 months. I don't think sometimes YouTube gets it right, but thank you so much, Lisa. It's always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Hope you are well.
gotten
What do you,
most
what
of my
do you think of the picture
information
photos?
from, I know that I know about y'all going to BJ's. I know about y'all going to Strike and Spare, and I know y'all picked up Melissa's daughter.
And say, well, hold on. See, this is where you're.
I do want to say that it's probably best if you have headphones, if you have them around you right now, it's probably best because you can hear KK better with some of the things that she says, but it's not.
Your information is wrong.
Okay.
Okay. First, let me correct.
I thought that was on an interview. Didn't y'all say?
No, hold on. Let's change. I need you to change your words.
Well, I mean,
Okay,
that's why we're
y'all-
talking, so we can clear things, like figure
Right.
things out.
God,
Once again,
jeez,
y'all
Chris.
didn't do shit.
Oh, Chris was in Memphis, right? Okay, so
So
sorry.
don't say y'all. Thank you.
Okay, my bad.
So
So
Katie and Sebastian went to BJ's.
right.
Prior to going to BJ's,
Listen,
After picking up our niece,
I said prior to going to BJ's,
which was not Melissa's
they
fault.
went and picked up a niece.
He's looking at her, telling her to zip
Not
it.
gonna be disclosed because it is no.
You could tell he turned his
business.
body there.
Was not Melissa.
Turned his body there to look at her, to tell her to zip it. Telling you, listen for it.
I do want to say that. So,
To BJ's.
all right,
They went and picked up a niece.
headphones. If you have them around you right now, it's probably best because.
To BJ's.
All right, 2 sisters, assuming Edgar's, Katie, Sebastian, and a bunch of kids went to BJ's. BJ's is a wholesale, very similar to Sam's Club, Costco, that kind of thing. Now, you're going to hear what time, and this was a very interesting part for me, at least.
That is on a video footage.
Yeah.
I have seen that. Law
Yeah.
enforcement can confirm that.
Right.
She needs to be picked up.
Names don't need
Talks over Katie like,
to be extracted. Don't need to be out.
Yeah, I
in public.
mean, minors' names don't need to be thrown out anyway.
Exactly.
No,
My
I'm
sister doesn't need any more harassment either.
okay, KP. Jesus. Like your kid's missing.
So sorry,
I
my
just
player
can't
just
imagine.
quit looking here.
Can't
I
imagine.
don't know why.
This person is trying to help you, that you would talk that way to them.
Make sure it's. Hold on, let me refresh it, guys.
Just
Bear with me 1
mind-numbing.
second. Nope. Okay. 1 second, y'all. Where is it at?
those coming in late, we are listening to a call between Heather, the PI, and Chris and KP. CP and KP. During when Sebastian went missing at first.
Huh.
Glad to know I'm not the only one that has technical
All
challenges.
right, guys, I'm going to have to.
Once again, my two sisters on video footage.
Yeah.
That has all been vetted, that has been proven, proof of life, all that bullshit.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so Melissa, Ed's sister, Edgar's sister, Cassie, again, Edgar's sister, were there.
So Justin refers to CP as Edgar. And I didn't know Chris had two sisters. So basically they're saying that KP got a call to pick up Chris's other sister, not Melissa's daughter, but Chris's other sister. I don't know her name's child. I think it's a girl. On that day, on that Sunday.
At BJ's.
Yeah. Now,
Justin loses the audio here. Please just be patient. It'll come back on. That's I guess the thing. I know we're supposed to look for discrepancies in what he says, and we will point that out. And if you
Now,
see anything, mention it in the chat.
Again,
But
she says on. You can't hear it again? Let me do it like this. I'll do it like this then. I know this will work. I don't like doing it like this, but I can. Okay.
on video footage.
Yeah.
That has all been vetted, that has been proven, proof of life, all that bullshit.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Now, they go to BJ's. They leave BJ's.
Sebastian and I were BJ's. Your sisters went their own way. I don't know
I
what
know.
they did.
They left BJ's.
they
Okay.
left BJ's.
Now, she says, Sebastian and I leave BJ's. They all go on their own way. Meaning the two sisters and the other kids. That's important, right? Because we always thought that the niece went with KK and Sebastian. But that's not what happened according to this interview. Just KK and Sebastian left.
It's just me and them with the phone together.
So you and Sebastian leave BJ's.
Okay, so can because I don't actually.
I almost
don't
feel
have
like
actual
he's
time.
telling her, like, so you and Sebastian left BJ's. Something not right about that statement.
Times.
Listen,
Can I get a timeline on that? I don't remember the exact.
I'll give you an on or about time. I can't give you an exact time.
So
How can you give anything? You weren't there.
exact timestamps to the law enforcement.
It was before noon.
Gotcha. Okay. Before.
before noon,
Whispering one.
before noon,
Yes.
they had
Whispering
woke up,
winds.
made the spaghetti pancake breakfast. Sebastian liked to brag about it, or wanted to brag about his breakfast to the family. So that's what he did. A little while later, they got together with the two sisters and the niece. Okay, now listen to this. Before noon, all of this.
Noon at BJ's.
Yes.
Law enforcement has the literal like to the
We
second.
have been told we are not to give out exact times. Directly from law enforcement, we're not breaking that.
Whoa.
Now, I strongly have a much different opinion on this part right
We got that directly from law enforcement, and we're not breaking that. That is always, I think that's an LIE.
here.
I see a nose growing in that.
he says that all law enforcement has told him not to give out exact times. Right?
Oh, sorry.
Why? First of all, you guys have seen the email that I have showed you directly from the only detective that has worked on Sebastian's case since day one. And that is him saying we cannot tell anyone, advise them on anything. That's not what law enforcement does. They don't advise on what you should say or you shouldn't say ever. Number one. Number two, this is before Sebastian went missing, right? Everything is normal at this point. Everything is normal at this point. Why couldn't you give an exact time? Especially if there is no involvement. So I'm not really sure if I agree with that or not.
Like I said, they literally used my 360 and like
They got the timestamp.
that route I took. They know how fast I went, doing my identity stops, which I didn't. They know, like they literally know every detail because we have upgraded 360. So they literally, and I have a thing in my car with a camera.
She's saying that she has Life 360, which is a good thing, if that is indeed true. And she has a thing in her car that says it's the upgraded Life 360, how fast you drive, all of that. But she also says she has something in her car that is a camera.
Yeah, the dash cam.
It's not a dash cam.
Oh, okay.
Everybody. But all they need to know is in this vehicle, there was something that recorded a video and audio.
So
Oh,
Edgar says
whoa!
this is not a dash cam.
Did you hear that? Did I hear that right? I'm sorry if I yelled in your ears. I'm just making a Pinocchio in the background to put up on the screen. Hold on. Did I hear that right?
Literally, and I have a thing in my car with a camera.
She's saying that she has Life 360, which is a good thing, if that is indeed true. And she has a thing in her car that says it's the upgraded Life 360, how fast you drive, all of that. But she also says she has something in her car that is a camera.
Yeah, the dash cam.
It's not a dash cam.
Oh, okay.
Everybody. But all they need to know is in this vehicle, there was something that recorded a video and audio.
Oh my God. He just said. What? Did nobody else hear this? He just said in his car, in SETH's car, he recorded what was an audio and a video. Did you not hear that? What the heck? What is he referring to? Let's not, it can't be. It cannot be. It cannot be. No. It cannot be the same audio and video. I got to go back and play that again. Tell me what you hear, please. Put your headset on if you have any earbuds. He's got to be talking about something else. Please, for the love of God, don't tell me.
Rated Life 360, how fast you drive, all of that. But she also says she has something in the car that is a camera.
Yeah, the dash cam.
It's not a dash cam.
Oh, okay.
Everybody. But all they need to know is in this vehicle, there was something that recorded a video and audio.
All they need to know, in his vehicle, there was something that recorded an audio and a video. That's what was said. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm going to have to pull cards on that one, but it's not going to be tonight. Please, mods, don't let me forget. We got to pull cards on that. Okay, I'm going to try to stop it for a little while.
So Edgar says this is not a dash cam, but there is something in the car that records
Not sure which
audio
three wins.
and video. Now, again, maybe he's using semantics on this. Maybe it's a GoPro, you know, whatever, you know how semantics he
He
plays.
said audio and video.
So not really sure.
I just know I'm the only one that had that audio until I put it public. I don't know if that's the same one he's talking about.
We went home after BJ's ... for a little while. Did you hear that? We went home after BJ's for a little while. Now, meaning they're going to be home around noonish, and
I
they are
can't
home
believe
for a little while.
Justin didn't hear that.
They didn't get hardly any groceries at BJ's. Remember, KK in Chronicles of Olivia's interview said they went home to put away groceries. I have been told that allegedly they bought at BJ's some socks and a few food items.
Okay.
Nothing really.
What's very interesting about that is this is Heather. The same PI that I have a picture of that submitted the same audio that I have that was given to me. Heather did submit the audio to the police, the sheriff's office. And I know she did because the person that gave me the audio told me herself that she gave it to Heather. And then I was given a screenshot of a picture of Heather, a communication between Heather and a proven communication with a police sheriff there, Sumner County, trying to download and not able to download that audio. So this is the same Heather. So did she learn that somebody had an audio and a video? I'm not going to go back because it'll take us too long to get back where we are now. But he said, we listened twice. I'm going to go back on my own. I just can't believe nobody else heard that. That there was somebody, that has audio and video, that had a video of it on their dash cam or video was something. I don't know what.
Major.
And unloaded the groceries.
I'm just curious if that was what we're talking
Did you hear
about
that?
here.
And unloaded the groceries.
Right here. Now, Edgar starts talking here, and he says after they were at the house a little bit, they go to strike and spare. Now, again, Edgar claims that he was not at home during this time frame.
Wow.
He claims he is 3.5 hours away at this time in a different state.
Edgar being
He's
CP.
almost still in Tennessee, but technically a different state, saying. So, you know, I don't know why he constantly interrupts KK, because if he wasn't there, KK is the one who, it's very important that when someone goes missing, that it comes directly from the account of where and who it came from, of the source.
No kidding.
The
No
original
kidding.
source. So
Whispering
important.
Winds.
So there's that.
The plan was to go bowling because there was a bowling tournament going on.
Yeah.
They didn't get to bowl. They had to play video games.
There was too long of a wait list and it was a school night, so I promised to take it bowling another day.
Right. So they didn't get to bowl, so they went to the little arcade park, or the arcade part rather, at Strike and Spare. Kiki says she promised to take him another day. They were having bowling tournaments at that time, so they played at the arcade for a little while. Now, she didn't ask what time this was, which would have been nice to know, but I think we can in my opinion, rough out an idea about what time it would be because she's going to say what happens next.
Sunday night, we cannot go into school. No, it is not. It's considered a weekend.
Oh my God, he's going to argue with her over whether it's a Sunday night is a school night. No, it's a weekend. Who could you just place yourself living in that condition and tell me you wouldn't be a nervous wreck? You know, people have come at me for saying it's not that I think she's innocent. Do not get me wrong, but she is most definitely the victim of abuse and narcissism and has been her whole life, in my opinion, since childhood upward. And so, not defending her, I'm just saying, I think she's terrified of him. And if you had to live with this and you know what his capacity for violence is, in my opinion, and he's told us that out of his own mouth, how would you be? How would you live like that every day? You'd be a nervous freaking wreck and you'd be terrified. And his parents have money, in my opinion, allegedly.
Okay, that's still not the problem. Semantics is a large place.
All right. So
Oh,
KK
yeah,
says
it's just
that
like-
it's a school night. Sunday night is a school night. Sunday night is a school night because you go to school the next day.
They
you have
sure
to get your
do.
kids ready on Sunday night to go to
That's
school
what I
the next
said to KP. You might be trying to get yourself a defense now if she ever heard my video. But man, the internet, you can't unlock what's been done. You cannot unlock what's been done. And if this were go to court, the fact that your stories have changed and are not consistent, you have never been seen searching, you're threatening people who are searching, your partner's taking down billboards, and now he's threatening to take billboards down. We could talk about that another day. We could talk about that today, but I don't have them yet pulled up. But I've seen them, and I get to a certain minimal extent. I get a little bit, but however, because they're not just a standard billboard, but only somebody that feels some sort of consciousness of guilt, in my opinion, would be offended about a billboard of my missing child going up.
day.
Make it make sense. If they, and I'm going to change that, when they get caught. Katie, if I were you, I'd go running. I'd run my ASS off to the FBI in Memphis now if I were you, because I don't know when the election's coming up, but I hear it's not that far away. And, you know, I don't know how people are going to vote there. I don't know, but, you know, there's nothing certain in the protection you have.
And Edgar says, it is not a school night. Sunday, he's like, it's not. Well, you know what these souls say. And KK's like, well, it is a school night. So they kind of argue and he kind of snaps at her. And she says, semantics. And he said, semantics plays a big role in this case. I found that interesting because I think semantics should never play a role in any case.
Yeah. What does he mean, semantics?
Especially
That's a very, very,
case
very
where
telling statement. That is a very extremely boy, Justin is soft and very courteous with his words. Because, man, semantics are important in this case. What's the definition of semantics? Let me just look that up. Let's look that up. Sorry, y'all. I just like semantics. I mean, I know the general meaning. I just want to focusing. Semantics is the study of meaning and specifically in language. Oh, isn't that so interesting? How you say that, sir? Because that's what we're doing. We're analyzing how your words and phrases and sentences carry meaning and how those meanings are constructed and interpreted. It explores the relationships between language and the real world, examining how language conveys information and concepts. How language conveys information and concepts. Semantics also delves into nuances of meaning, including synonyms, antonyms, and different interpretations. So semantics, conveying information and concepts. That seems to me a polite way of saying, I'd like to determine how things are conveyed and how they're constructed and determined. I'm going to control the narrative. Why are you controlling a narrative other than just speaking the truth, sir?
A child is missing, right?
And understand something, you can say that if you put some shit out there like that, everybody's gonna think, oh, so what's the say? But I'm telling you, you don't have to say. All fucking day.
All right. So after BJ's, went home to unload groceries, then went to Strike and Spare, played in the arcade for a while
All
because
that's been vetted by video.
yeah.
Okay, Della, I don't know why we're all fighting in the crowd. That's what I did. If you're talking to me, I said exactly that's all she did was when she was called out on it. But I also am trying to give them the benefit of the doubt on why they wouldn't want it aired. And I don't necessarily jump to anything nefarious. They maybe just don't want to have that get out into the air among people that are going to use that information as much. Like, it's not great strategy. And it's not great news. And so it's just could be that, in my opinion, that it's more a strategy than it is a fear. That's my opinion. So that's all we're going to say right now about that. But yeah.
Nobody spoke to Sebastian as far as the result. I can't see anywhere in the videos that were following.
Hold on, I need to rewind that for a second.
Played in the arcade.
1 second.
Nobody spoke to Sebastian as far as the result. I can't see anywhere in the videos that were following. That is something that you're going to speculate on. That has been eliminated.
Yeah, I did talk to them about that, and they said that the cameras were shit. That they weren't really able to see a whole lot of anything at the strike.
Now, I've not seen video of Sebastian and KK at the Strike and Spare. However, I have seen photos, I guess, from the video at Strike and Spare. And the photo that I saw wasn't really that bad. But we'll see. Let me see if I can boost the volume. I'll try. It might work, it might not. It kind of goes in and out.
All the way back to the all the
Slow down.
And they confirmed again the video there. They even showed Seth a clip of it after his little, I haven't seen little white comment, even though he had.
What did he tell you about that?
Now, again, they're kind of being disrespectful, if you will, to Seth right there. I mean, any father is going to want to know proof of life as much as possible whenever your child is missing. I don't think that's unreasonable. In fact, I believe if the shoe was on the other foot, if
Darn right.
KK
Oh
was,
my goodness. Gosh.
you know, if
Could you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot, how they would be with Seth? Oh my God, I don't even want to think about
Sebastian
it.
was at Seth's house,
Wild.
KK
be
would
wild.
want the exact same thing. I think that is a totally reasonable thing to ask.
About what?
That is a little comment he has. Thursday or Friday, but I lost all or hurt myself.
Yeah.
So Edgar here, he talks like a 4-year-old, very typical of him. And he states, well, Seth says that, he does that kind of voice. Haven't seen any proof
I love the nickname Edgar for CP. I just learned that today.
of life
But he
since
does
the
that.
last time I saw him.
He looks like an Edgar too, doesn't he?
Okay. And he said he creates a meeting. Well, what's wrong with creating a meeting with the authorities to ask for proof of life? I don't think that's unreasonable whatsoever. You want as much as you can get.
I'd heard about that comment. I mean, he hasn't said it to me, but I've heard about the comment.
But see, this is where, like, truth be told, is where everything needs to come out.
Truth be told,
Excuse
you
me.
know what? When you're telling,
Prior to that,
hang on a second.
he started some shit. It caused the fucking stir. It caused the meeting. They showed him a video, Texas Roadhouse. They showed when they walked out of Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
He had seen a video of Sebastian at the fucking house Sunday night, taking the fucking trash out.
Right.
From inside, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. That's the first I hear about that they had a video showing that Sebastian was taking. Has anybody else heard that before? I didn't.
All right.
Taking the trash out?
Again, they're talking about here where the video of someone taking out the trash. Again, Seth says, he couldn't 100% verify if it was Sebastian, but he said it was too blurry. Now, KK and Edgar says, well, yeah, you can see. You can.
You know what? I just have to stop to say I'm so sorry to learn that there's been not just myself that have, a lot of you have dealt with narcissist and abuse and everything else. And yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. And that's why it's like I've taken some flack the few times that I've said I do feel sorry for Katie in that sense. In that sense, does that justify what happened or what? No, but I do think that she was played for and she is terrified. That's just my opinion.
You can see who it was taking out the trash. They also say, KK says, well, I have audio and video in my car.
So, okay, so you guys got.
Do you see the frustration where we have?
Yeah.
I
No.
don't see I don't see the
No, I
frustration
don't
actually.
either.
No. I would be frustrated about not finding where my child is. That would be frustration. I wouldn't be frustrated at the biological father, in my opinion, for wanting as much proof of life as possible. That would not be a priority.
I do.
Well, I'm pretty sure the police would have asked for it too. And Seth, being the bio dad, certainly has a right to it. Why is that so offensive? Yes, it's crazy.
But it's nice to have like a conversation with you instead of having to get
gosh.
everything.
I cannot
everywhere
wait
else.
till we are all wearing some sort of Sebastian Army t-shirt, watching them in court with, the jumpsuits and the shackles on, and there's colossal popcorns we're all eating. That day is going to be like glorious. Can't wait.
Definitely.
I cannot
We
wait.
went home straight from Texas Roadhouse, and we were home for approximately 15 minutes before he took the trash out. And he is on video, and the FBI was able to clear it up and confirm that it's him.
All right. Big things right there. KK says about 15 minutes after they arrive home, that is when Sebastian is seen taking out the trash
That's new for me.
on camera over from the neighbor's house. That's
I forgot to get back to Pinocchio.
If
Let me
that
get back
is
to Pinocchio.
indeed the truth. She also says
Every time you hear a lie, we're
that
gonna
was able to clear the video up to see that was Sebastian. Now, you can believe it or not. It's up to you, whatever your opinion is on this. But Seth said he couldn't make out that it was his son exactly.
Even though you can tell it's him from a mile away because of how he runs, it's just, you can tell from his mannerisms. The second you look at it, it's him running, but still.
Now, personally, my opinion has always been I believe that Sebastian took out the trash. I know some of you don't believe that, but I do believe her when she says that Sebastian took out the trash. and I do believe that is him taking out the trash. But another thing I find interesting is, again,
No kidding.
this camera from across the
Yeah.
street,
Yep.
you can see an individual taking out the trash. If you could see an individual taking out the trash, you would be able to see an individual coming out of the door or going up to the door as well. I can tell you that across the street, even when Sebastian and Kay and Edgar lived, when the lights kick on or off, it also triggers the door or the Ring door camera from across the street. It's sensitive. So anytime someone is out in that yard, anytime someone comes out of that door, anytime they take out the trash, you can see. I've also been told that allegedly, and Edgar says that they weren't able to see, the cameras weren't able to see in the dark, a lot of them, when they reenacted the to see if Sebastian could have went out. One of the sources tell me that they did indeed go to the house and to check to see if like someone went up to the door, walked out the door, if it would trigger it. And this source told me that it does trigger it. And that's when they told me that whenever the lights even kick on or off in the house, it triggers it. And this source told me, she said, even the lights, when they kick on and off, triggers our camera. So of course, someone walking up or out of the door triggers it as well. What was
Can
that?
you guys hear that?
Trash was heavier. Trash was not.
I don't know if you can hear. We're gonna get a little
I
buzzer
did a
up.
live on the trash actually. If you, I've got the messages from the trash guy who is in that area. It was always thought in the beginning that the trash truck individuals reached out to law enforcement, but it was not like that. Law enforcement actually reached out to the trash company to see if they had noticed anything off, around Sebastian's house or anything related to the trash. And they said, no, they hadn't noticed anything. So if you go back on this channel, I do a whole live on that.
Okay. So he took the trash about 15 minutes. And that was about what time was that?
I don't know exactly off the top of our head.
Listen to this.
Well, I know.
Let me rewind that just a little bit.
Well, I know.
Hold on.
He took the trash about 15 minutes. And that was about what time was that?
I don't know exactly off the top of our head.
Well, I know you told him to go to bed at about 9, right?
So Edgar states,
Edgar?
I don't know off the top of my head. Now, that is a little concerning to me, to be honest. I understand not wanting to give a wrong answer, an incorrect answer. However, this is a child, and it really matters. And there is nothing that needs to be given off the top of your head. It's very interesting to me how you can remember as specific as 9:43 or 9:46, the times you call and other times like that, or roundabout time, but not with this. But it only gets worse from the next few minutes here. Really bad.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Excuse me.
How much time was between the trash and going to bed?
A couple hours.
Couple
All right.
hours.
How much time was between going
So went to
the
bed.
trash
Took the trash out at
and
7, according to
going to
that.
bed? Edgar states a couple hours. What time did Katie and Seth get home? Not Katie and Seth. Katie and Sebastian get home. It was close to 7, right? Close to 7. It says a couple hours. So that would be around 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
Okay, and then you guys were on the phone from about what 9 to 12? Mark.
Sure.
Was that FaceTime or was it phone conversation?
Did you catch that? Did you catch
Sure.
that part? Y'all were on the phone for about. Hold on. Stop calling.
Okay, hang on a second. I got to go back to that. Sorry, that buzzer thing, it mutes. It doesn't quite work. Sure is that there's a deflection there. That's not the truth, but he's going to let him go with it. There's something there telling you.
Okay, and then you guys were on the phone from about what 9 to 12? Mark.
Sure.
Sure. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if he's basically there. You tell me what you feel. Do you think that's just snippy, or is that a narrative? He's like, oh, sure, that suits us better. I don't know. Something there.
Or just a phone conversation?
Did you catch that? Did you catch that part? Y'all were on the phone from about. Hold on. Stop calling. I'm live.
Just
Okay, that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. So
no.
from about 9 to
Well,
midnight.
Have a sound attached, but it doesn't.
Right, about 9 to
There.
midnight.
There.
Okay. So when that happened, he says, "Sure."
Can you guys
Sure.
hear the sound?
Sure.
There is a Pinocchio
FaceTime or just a phone
emoji
conversation?
on Canva.
Doesn't matter. We were on the phone.
No, I'm not pulling cards tonight, Calm Kitty. Sorry, I explained that earlier on.
Any bearing to this?
Yeah.
Phone call was made, whether it was a FaceTime, a Zoom call,
The only
whether it was
reason-
a voice check.
Yeah, the only reason that I am curious about that is just whether it was possible that he had heard any of that conversation.
So, okay. That tells me I'm going to stop it here. It's okay, Calm Kitty. Don't worry. I was just saying I'd rather show up every night for you all, either 4 or 5, depending. Probably more 4 will be the most often time. Consistently for you Monday through Friday and then Sunday nights. And then when we get more members to actually do a live, I'll go Saturday mornings. For members. I just was too tired. And if I want to show up consistently, I'm just not going to be able to read cards 3 hour day, like 3 hours for lives and every day. It's just not going to happen. So we're going to mix it up with news and discussions. And today I'm not feeling too energetic enough to do cards. And I wanted to talk about these topics because they're important. But yeah, the sure to me says we're going to go with that story, but that's not what really happened between 9 and 12. Were they on the phone, or was the phone playing, talking, and left in the RV until Katie hung up 3 hours later, making it look like they were on the phone, and yet that was when CP actually, I don't know, arrived. I still think he might have been there all the time at his parents' place. That's what I've been saying. I just telling you, having been in sales and worked with deception and negotiation and languages and trained in upward swings and downward swings and writing a book about it, and forget my intuition and my spidey sense. Just all that tells me something is not right with the 9 to 12 storyline on them being on the phone that whole time. I'll listen again.
Okay, that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. So
Absolutely, honey.
from about 9 to midnight. Right? About 9 to midnight. Okay. So when that happens, he says, sure.
Sure.
Is that FaceTime or just a phone conversation?
It doesn't matter. We were on the phone. Those details don't have any bearing in this.
Yeah.
The phone call was made, whether it was a FaceTime, a Zoom call.
The only
whether it was
reason-
a voice chat.
Yeah, the only reason that I am curious about that is just whether it was possible that he had heard any of that conversation.
No. Once again, our conversations are not where children can hear them.
Well, I mean, that
Would have upset him.
yeah, no, I mean, it's not like we were arguing or anything. I mean, we spend time on the phone daily because we live separately a majority of the time when he's on travel. So we call.
Listen to that again.
Travel. I mean, we spend time on the phone daily because we live
It's not cooperating.
separately.
What happened? Justin lost it again. Hello, YouTuber. Welcome in, everybody. I didn't even greet anybody today. We went totally off wall. I just went AWOL today. I didn't greet anybody. I just went into this rant and right into videos, y'all. So sorry. Different format today. And yours truly needed to just vent a little bit at the beginning of this session here. And now we're just listening to Heather's leaked call between CP and KP right after Sebastian went missing. The PI that Seth hired. Justin's just lost the audio, so he's just going to get it back up for us. Now we're going to talk about who threatened the judge. And
Can you not hear it again?
Videos
Why
there.
does it do that?
I'm not the only
I don't know
one
why it
that
does
is
that.
frustrated with StreamYard and YouTube.
Somewhere between 9 and 12.
Oh God.
There was a
Listen to this.
tell her and mom told him,
Yep.
"Sebastian, whatever you're doing, get off and go to bed."
Okay. Somewhere between 9 and 12 now. Between 9 and 12 o'clock is whenever he's saying is when the thud happened now. So it could have been before the phone call even.
No,
Before the
I
phone
don't think
call?
so.
Because
That's
remember,
maybe
you
though.
and KK don't start talking till about 9.
Okay, let's think about that. Okay. Could the thud have happened? Take out the readings when channeling Sebastian with that photo that I got was sent to me. It was Sebastian came in and said 10. Now let's just assume that's put that aside for a second. Could have the thud happened before 9? If Sebastian took the garbage out 2 hours earlier, that would have been around 7 in KP's own words. Could the thud have happened right after that? Because typically he goes to bed at 7:30 or something, 8 o'clock. Do you think that makes sense logically, given what we know? Because Justin's like very interested here. I never ever got that thought that was a possibility. Do you think so? Put a 1 in the chat. We're going to move on if you think it's likely.
9:43, 9:46.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my God. Are you kidding
thank you,
me?
everybody. Thank you.
Are you kidding me?
Well,
sure wasn't
Comp
like
Kitty, apparently
he
it
said
was
in my
7:30
Well,
or 8.
V8, just wait.
That he was up late.
Just wait. Just
No worries,
wait.
sweetie.
Oh my God. It changes everything. Yes. But just wait till you hear the rest of this, but then wait till you hear Olivia's interview. Smiley's interview.
I know.
But it gets way worse. This call does. Way worse,
Okay, well, we're here for it.
in my opinion.
It's going to be a long session tonight, y'all.
So again,
we're going to be
9
doing
o'clock
longer streams from now on.
is when Sebastian, he has it, Smiley.
Yeah.
9 o'clock is when Sebastian allegedly comes out and says, Mom, I love you. I'm going to bed. Good night, Mom. Good night, puppies. See you tomorrow.
I
right?
think 9 or 10. Sebastian said around 10, but
All right, cool. Sebastian and Katie says, and he goes to bed. She said just like that. He goes to bed every time. And I've always said, well, okay. It's always interesting to me that from 9
no worries,
o'clock
Empress
until
Beauty.
9 or until 10
I'm
o'clock,
just,
which is when she's
y'all, the mods, I just want to say how grateful I am you're here. Just no worries, no apologies. Thank you for being
said before
truly.
that she heard the thud. The thud was always about 10 o'clock. Now here it's 9 to midnight.
Okay,
Cool.
interesting. Ash Cash, interesting.
I always found it very
Interesting.
interesting from 9 o'clock until 10 o'clock, nothing, right? You can hear if someone's in your house. You can hear if a kid's in your house. You just can't. You can hear if they're in there playing around, right?
Yes,
On their
yes,
Nintendo, on
exactly.
some, whatever.
And when we go back over time,
So, I just don't, I don't understand why
Interesting,
there are
eh?
so many stories. And I always found it
Exactly.
interesting about 15 or 20 minutes after Edgar calls and their 10 o'clock thud sound. You didn't hear anything for 45 minutes before
Yeah.
Edgar called, and 15 minutes after
That's
Edgar
a
called,
good point he
that
makes.
is when you heard the thud.
It's a very
But
good
now,
point he makes.
it could be before the call or after, or during the call, rather,
Mm-hmm.
from 9 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it's most likely
Interesting.
when something bad happened. I think something bad happened around 9 o'clock. Maybe even before, in my opinion. Cindy Lou, we're going to play it here in just a minute. All right, hold on. Let me just back that up just a little bit, right there.
There was a sound heard, and Mom told him, Sebastian, whatever you're doing in there, knock it off and go to bed. He said, yes, ma'am.
There was a sound, not a thud, a sound. Mom says, whatever you're doing in there, knock it off, go to bed. Knock it off, go to bed. Okay. Well, are you really going to say knock it off and go to bed if it's 11:30? You're going to hear your kid from 9 to 11 if they're awake. And if it is, if you've already let them stay up 1 hour later, 1 hour later, than you normally let them sit up. In fact, Edgar and KK, they say from 7:30 to 8 o'clock is Sebastian's normal bedtime, which is incredibly early for a 15-year-old.
Yes,
but he does
very.
take medication. So I understand in a sense, but regardless, it's still incredibly early. But the medication causes drowsiness and so I understand he needs to sleep that off before the next day of school.
Thank you.
He normally took his medication around 7:30 to 8 o'clock, according to Seth. And within an hour, and that is to be very generous in timing, he should be asleep within an hour.
I want to hear.
Right.
Okay, I want to hear more here.
So let's
What
say he
else
took
is
that
being
medicine
said?
at 8 o'clock. Well, 9 o'clock, yeah, you're probably going to be asleep. But she's saying upwards till midnight.
So
He's saying she heard this sound. Knock it off, and I don't care what you're doing in there, but knock it off and go to sleep. The other thing was, Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? That was another story.
I didn't hear
that
her.
She had stated, right?
I didn't hear her say it was close to midnight.
But
Did I miss
most
something?
of us parents, if we
Hold on, y'all. Oh, Leanne.
but knock it off and go to sleep. The other thing was, Bubba, did you fall out of the bed? That was another story that she had stated, right? But most of us parents, if we,
No kidding.
you know, it's Sunday night. You let
Here's the thing, when I channeled him, she brought him sleepy tea because he wasn't falling asleep. And I wonder if that's what he didn't take. Remember, I've been saying all along, I get the impression he was given something to help drug him or make him fall asleep. I said this months ago in readings, and that something happened and he didn't take it because he maybe overheard the plan. So he wasn't falling asleep. And then when I channeled him, he said, yeah, and she brought sleepy tea in at around 10, but let's just keep listening.
let your kids stay up.
It could be, I'm not claiming to be right. I'm just saying, very interesting now that we hear this.
An extra hour anyway. And then you're on the phone or you're busy doing something and you hear them in there. You're going to be like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be in bed.
He certainly looked upset with the conversation and was resisting what he was being told in that Texas Roadhouse video. And so he, for whatever reason, potentially, in my opinion, did not take what he was given that night to knock him out. Maybe that's what was exchanged at Texas Roadhouse. That's what came up in the readings, just piecing it together as we watch this. What if that's all accurate? And he overheard something. He was devastated with what he heard. He knew there was a plan, and he weren't going to take it. No, not going to take it. Not going to take the meds tonight because I know something's going to happen. And CP gets in there. What do you mean you ain't going to take your meds? Sleepy tea trying to be given. And when he's not taking his meds, maybe CP at his parents' place, just potentially, in my opinion, came rushing over because he wasn't taking his meds.
Not, I don't care what you're doing, because obviously you care if your child is not in bed. They got school tomorrow. You got to go to bed. That doesn't make sense. Knock it off. Or I don't care what you're doing in there. Knock it off and go to sleep. You do care, because that's why you go and say, yell at them or check on them.
I think I don't care what you're doing in there is just an expression. I don't care what you're freaking doing. Knock it off. I don't agree with him. I think that's totally legit statement.
What?
But that's just my opinion. I don't think that's
Excuse me.
suspicious. Absolutely. He knew something was up. Absolutely.
And then nothing until we went to wake him up, right?
No, nothing until she went to wake him up.
And that was about 6 a.m.
So, and tell her what you just said, so that way.
No answer there. Deflection. See that? Hear that? And then no answer until she went to wake him up.
Say, yell at them or check on them. But just wait. Just wait. Excuse me.
All right. And then nothing until we went to wake him up, right?
No, nothing until she went to wake him up.
And that was about 6 a.m.
So, and tell her what you just said, so that way, for the record.
Mm-hmm.
No, she said that when I told you about hearing the noise, her saying go to bed, and he said yes, ma'am. Apparently that's wrong. So correct.
Now, do you hear how Edgar is speaking to her right now? Just rewind that just a little bit.
When I told you about hearing the noise, her saying go to bed, and he said yes, ma'am. Apparently that's wrong. So correct.
Okay. I don't care what you're doing, knock it off and go to sleep.
Did he answer her?
He says, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once again, right back to what I thought you said.
Did he just swear? Going back
Once
to
again,
what I
right back
said?
to what I effing said.
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
got to be in control, in my opinion.
Okay. Now my dog's going to want to start barking. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. ask you. Okay, so I did want to go back to when you had said that you didn't think you run away, that you ran away. So what do you think?
I don't have.
Listen.
One of us have an idea.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is like that's why I asked you, what did you exactly know in this case? What Seth has told you? Make it easy for us to fill in the blanks.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Edgar says, that's why I asked you what you know about this case and what Seth has told you. Makes it easier for us to fill in the blanks.
That's a negotiation strategy when you don't want to tell somebody something that they don't already know. So in other words, that's so hilarious. It's so obvious. That's like in negotiation strategies. I'm not playing on my cards. I'm not playing on my cards or poker. You play all your cards, and then I'll see if your cards match my cards, and I'll know which cards I can keep to myself because you didn't choose them. You don't know I have them, and they're not part of your cards. They're not your cards. So I want to hear what you know, so I don't have to tell you what you don't know. That's exactly what that is. That is exactly what that is. If the cops can't pick up on this, man, this is scary. I'll tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story. The book that I wrote, The Trademark, when I used to be a coach, I used to coach people not to be salesy. And it took me 10 years to realize I was in sales because I didn't want to be a salesperson. I wanted to be a consultant, and I love selling real estate. And when I started coaching, I coached a guy, an ex-police officer, and I coached a guy that worked with CSIS in Canada, which would be like basically the CIA in Canada. And he said, your strategy, which is what I trademarked, closing strategy, 7 steps to closing people without being salesy. I trademarked it. It's why I won international sales awards, was based in NLP, even though I'd never studied NLP. And it's based on the fact that nobody would listen to me when I was a kid. And I didn't know that I had inadvertently developed this process. And he says to me, Jesus, Leanne, do you know what you've done? I said, no. He goes, this is police interrogation. This is what the police do to interrogate terrorists and criminals. So I know exactly what he's doing right now. And this is, I want you to play your cards first because I ain't telling you unless you already know.
Seth is trying to get the blanks filled in for him as well. He was a father who was working a 12-hour shift the night his son went missing. He was working in a jail.
So the reason I said that was, if I know that, and 2 police officers that were ex-police officers that I coached know it, surely Sumner County in their interviewing has picked up on some of these deflections or statements. Tell me, please, for the love of God, that they know that this is deflection 101.
Your wife, Edgar, KK, she was the one that was at home, allegedly just her and Sebastian, which means she should be filling in the blanks for the person, the PI, trying to conduct an interview, not you giving answers.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to give that.
I sure hope, Ember.
In my opinion, he's just fishing.
The thing is,
just absolutely fishing.
Kelly Snyder will tell you, and you're not going to want to hear it when he comes up as a guest, that when he told me a lot of these sheriff's towns simply don't get the training. It's just a fact, not criticism. It's just a reality.
Not at all, Planet.
Oh, so I just need to know what's
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Be great to hear.
did you hear that? Hear what he said? Edgar might be reading too much into this.
Your client has an idea in his head that he's painting. Oh, so I just need to know what's being said.
Your client has a narrative in his head, so I just need to know what's being said.
See?
He doesn't know where. Okay, let's
The
think
client
about
has a narrative. Your client has a narrative. That's its excuse for I need to know what he knows.
If you was at work, including Edgar.
Hmm.
Edgar and Seth are at work, and Sebastian goes missing, right? And there's different versions being thrown around, many different versions, what the hell, and especially times. And your wife or your ex-wife would not speak to you about your son, nothing else, just your son that's missing. The most common interest, the most important thing to both of you, it should be. And that should always be a motive to speak, right? You can't stand your ex in every other aspect, but the one thing you can agree on generally is the health and the welfare of your child,
Yeah.
right?
No kidding, Justin. Totally.
So,
And not to mention, the child is missing right now. Where have you heard them say, Heather, what do you need to know from us? Heather, how can we help? Heather, we are beside ourselves. We need to figure out this ASTAT. Heather, please find some questions you can ask me to help me figure out maybe something that I'm missing here. Heather, I'm really struggling. Have you heard any of that? Not a freaking ounce or an iota or an inkling of giving a rat's ass to help and figure out where this child is. Just defensive. I mean, there's not a jury, KP, that's going to think it looks innocent, in my opinion.
KK won't speak. She's giving multiple stories. His shoes were left by the door. Didn't take a jacket. Doesn't like to be outside. No scent or anything.
Yep.
You're going to ask questions.
That's why yours
In
truly has
fact,
been a little riled up
if
these last few days because it's just disgusting and it needs to come to an end.
Edgar
All
wasn't
of it.
there,
It's just disgusting.
he should be asking questions too, in my opinion. Nobody
Judges included.
Nobody thinks that someone they know, live
The
with,
fact that
or
they're
married to
threatening a judge.
can do something.
And anyway, we're going to get to that later. If you're just coming in, we're going to talk about that later. Who's threatened the judge? Oh, I've got some video for you. I don't think it was Bullhorn.
Like this.
No.
To do something to a child, or, an accident happen. And that's just the truth. But it happens. But from day one from KK is, I don't know why he walked out of that door. Well, the only way you know he walked out of that door is if you saw him.
I know exactly.
Or
It's
B, you were
unbelievable.
part of it.
It's crazy.
Because you don't know.
Crazy. Who
That is
are these people?
a scenario.
Who are these people? It's just, they all have criminal pasts. Let's just leave it there, in my opinion.
No. Just like nobody knows 100% on anything. Where Sebastian's at or anything. So you don't know. But that's what it's pretty much been since day one. All right, moving forward. Here we go.
Yeah, it's gonna take your breath down a
Well,
bit.
the thing is about Seth that I don't think he's kind of just back and forth about things,
I say that's where he's stupid and he's wrong.
Well, he doesn't know. He doesn't know if he was lured. He doesn't know if something happened in the house. Like just how
He's stupid and he's wrong. What's he wrong about? What did Seth accuse them of? What's going on there? He's stupid and wrong. Wrong about what?
And that's where Edgar right there says he's stupid and he's wrong. And
Absolutely.
the behavior makes a great point. He doesn't know.
Somebody's ready to blow. I don't know. It's just my sense. Although I've said that before about it coming to an end and I was wrong. It just feels like someone's ready to blow their stack. Might get dangerous, literally. Literally.
He was at work. And of course, you're thinking, God, someone I know couldn't be a part of anything horrible. She's the mother. She would protect him at all costs. But this doesn't make sense. So what's going on? That's a natural ebb and flow of your feelings and where your mind takes you. But Edgar just says he's stupid for doing that. I think if the shoe was on the other foot, Edgar would feel the same way. I pray to God it's never on anybody's, happens to anybody. God, heaven forbid. I don't think that's a fair assessment from him.
Say that, or if he doesn't know if he ran away, like he doesn't know.
Well, see here, let me tell you something. If something happened in the house, that should never be a statement that comes out of your mouth or his fucking mouth for that matter. Because quite honestly,
Jesus, the F a lot. I mean, I just want to I'm so angry
Here we
listening
go.
to him, but God, he's angry for guys.
What happened to Edgar saying that it's okay for people to have opinions?
I'm just going to say something. This is what he's willing to be like with somebody he doesn't know. Just in my experience, it's always worse behind closed doors. Just my experience. What's he really like is the real question. What's he really like with people in closed doors? Scary to think about.
In fact, I think he said the other day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone was kissing his ass and was, groveling at him and said, "I'm so sorry. I thought that, this didn't make sense or anything." And he said, No, don't apologize to me. Anybody would question that. Anybody would question that. So, Edgar, you literally just said that like yesterday or the day before or something. And you're also calling Seth stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because of what? Because he's asking questions?
Mm-hmm.
Wanting to know proof of life?
Mm-hmm.
Asking time frames?
We're going to watch a video.
Your son?
Mama Cedar Street. We're going to watch a video after this or two. Yeah.
Why would he?
and there's nothing. There's no reason to insinuate, no reason to make that comment.
Well, I mean, I'm just being
Excuse me.
transparent with you.
But
yeah,
if there's something in there an issue, they would have already have gone down that route.
I don't know anything.
Oh, sorry, I had the booster on and it sounds different. Oh yeah, that did, Anna Elizabeth. That absolutely did, right? So they would have already gone down that route. Well, maybe they have gone down that route, but you guys know and I know that some routes are longer than others. In some routes, there's a lot of stops, and sometimes you have to, it takes a while on those stops to collect everything you need on the bus to get to where you're going. So yeah, Crazy a Country Girl, thank you so very much, my dear. Really do appreciate you. Thank you so much, my dear. Justin, you're gorgeous, and I've been here for a year, and I'm so glad I found your channel. I love it here. Thank you for all you do and have done. You are thank you, Crazy Country Girl. Really do appreciate you.
We're almost through this.
Very, very kind of you.
Almost
thank
done
you so
now.
much for your support.
It might be done the call.
Love, how are you?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll back that up just a little bit. Someone said rewind that just a little bit if you don't mind.
They've already gone down that route.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know anything about what law enforcement is thinking or what they're doing. You know as well as I do, they don't share that with me. And they don't have to, and I don't expect them to.
Exactly.
All right. So there it is.
Okay. So we're going to stop that one. We are going to stop that one. That is something I'll say. Sorry, y'all. I've just been like, oh, don't apologize. I had to take a hiatus too. I think everybody feels that way. This case, I was just about to say, y'all, we got to take a deep breath. Everybody just take a few deep breaths because it's very hard to hear. It's very hard to hear. Oh, sweetie, nice to see you back. Nice to see you back. I love that picture. If you want a mod again, were you not a modder before? You let me know. No pressure. We got lots of great mods in here. Thank all the mods. The ins and outs of the Lori Daybell current trial tells me people like this use all kinds of behind the scenes ways of communicating and hiding the Charles deception. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Cannot stand. I know. I know. I know. It's exactly right. It's exactly right. So if you're coming in late, well, first of all, I want to say how much y'all mean to me. We're just going to take a deep breath. I'm just going to update a couple people that may come in late. And then we're going to get into a few more videos. I want to be more consistent with the channel, like with the lives on the channel from like probably most often 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday and Sunday night. And Saturdays when we have more people and members, I'll do members live in the morning. Not that I don't appreciate the few members we have now. It's just that there's not going to be enough people to get everybody in because not everybody can make the same times, obviously. I have reduced the membership to $1.99 a month. And I am going to start, once I get done my tarot deck and get the psychic blueprint 30-day activities. I've got almost halfway done through the 30 days. I have about 18 more videos to put up. They're only like 10 minute, 15, 20 minutes exercises for the most part on how to develop your intuition and your psychic abilities. There's a very introductory learn tarot videos in there. And then I'm going to start doing for the members, I'm going to do the divine daily messages there instead of a second channel where I will be on in my coffee and my jammies. Just what do you need to hear today? What's the message of the day? They're going to be like 5-10 minutes, just quick in and out, so that everybody can kind of get grounded on what the energy for our group needs to hear for the day. You love the mornings too, sweetie? Yeah. So, thank you, Whispering Winds, sweetie. Thank you. You are a rock. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. That's very, very kind. I really appreciate it. So just whoever gets the membership, just know that that's YouTube that hands that out. Okay. Anyways, so we're going to make this more common format and I'll do the readings on the days I have the energy because I want to do a longer. And on those days, rather, we're going to go back to the interviews. So those will have episode numbers. So you'll know when you come to the live, if it doesn't have an episode number on the thumbnail, welcome in to the membership. Welcome in then. You got that? Good girl. Yeah, let's build this group. Exactly. We're going to, it's for anybody that wants to work like this down the road, that may want to develop your intuition, work with tarot or whatever, or just curious, just as a hobby. And then just really being more spiritual and guiding you more, that's what I want to do. And then we'll do the lives eventually too over there. So all that to say, if you see an episode, that'll be the day I'm feeling like I can do readings. So hopefully 2 days a week, 3 days a week. And those will be the days I do a new case and I want to pull cards. So we'll start with a new case. I have one that I was going to do tonight until I switched it up. And then we'll pull cards on where this person is, what's happened, and then we'll get into the interview review with the cards. So episode 2, which will be answering all your questions with the cards over what The first interview we watched, it was long, it was an hour. So we'll review that with asking your questions and watch interview 2, a new case. And on the days that I don't do the readings, there won't be an episode number. It's not going to be called interview reviews. It'll be me talking about the newest stuff in the case. And maybe if there's another case going on that we're following and there's news there, it'll be more chatting, because it just cannot. There's just no realistic way I'm going to be able to do cards for 3-4 lives that many times in the week. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you. I don't need help. We have lots of mods, but if you want to, you're welcome to. But if you want to, Nano, send me an email. It's so interesting that a lot of you all did what I was doing, which was like kind of going undercover, if you will. I needed a rest, but the way that you, a lot of you have changed your names. I just find that interesting, you know, speaks to your YouTube handles, speaks to the case that we're all involved in following craziness. So anyway, so that'll be the new format going forward, because I'd rather show up more often. And when I'm moved, I'll get into other readings and other cards, and, you know, we'll just keep growing this channel, and I'll figure out channel 2 down the road. But I'm moving. It's not a good time to bring out another channel. I'm decluttering. I'm downsizing. I'm excited. It's going to be half the cost of living. It's just going to be a lot of work, because I have a lot of stuff from my dad's home from Florida, an 18-wheeler that 3 stories full of furniture, a basement, and a garage. So it's going to be a lot. Anyway, that's the update. So let's get into the next topics of today. The next topics of the day are, I gotta forward it because I sent it to the wrong email. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Who threatened the judge? Who threatened the judge? We're going to watch a few videos, because I also want to talk about this, not to be too dramatic and drama oriented, but mainly because this scares me. As I said on my 15-minute intro rant, this whole case is very scary about freedom of speech. Yes, sweetie, I'm Canadian. I'm in the capital. Freedom of speech, the threats that you cannot report somebody bullying you on YouTube, and YouTube just doesn't care. Like, all this stuff is just scary to me. Welcome in those that are coming in. Yeah, it's ugly as well. Exactly. It's just a lot to take, you know? And so that's why I wanted to say, like, everybody just take a deep breath, you know? And that's the other reason I try to incorporate the prayers, because after we've listened to this stuff, it's like, we got to cleanse. I just can't keep those, because I get copy stricken, even though YouTube says I'm sharing free video every time, audio, every time they copyright me. So I have to take it on the live and then take it off and do it at the end of the live, so I can cut it off the live without being stricken. It's just wild. Okay, let's listen to Betty here. I'm going to switch up to a different one, because I'm going to show you this first. No, let's play this. I changed my mind. Let's change my mind. I changed my mind. Well, let's listen for a minute. This is exactly what the courtroom Bullhorn Betty. Hold on.
Hey guys, it's nice to see you. I went through some screenshots that I thought were important before I showed my beautiful face. I'm utterly exhausted. Holy smokes.
This was Betty this morning.
I came home
This morning.
Delilah.
I just want you to hear.
I don't know. Oh, good gracious. I'm not even out of bed yet. I looked at the time. I'm like, holy smokes. I cannot believe this, because I don't sleep in ever. And I went to bed. I was chatting with somebody. It had to have been like 8 or 8:30 last night that I went to bed. 8 or 8:30 last night that I went to bed. And I woke up at like 1:30, 2 o'clock, which my mom's been telling me that Delilah has been waking her up around 1 or 2 o'clock to go to the bathroom. I don't know why, but apparently she has. And I'm like, huh, that's weird. Well, this morning, that's exactly what she did. She woke me up around 1:30, 2 o'clock. She went out, she had to go pee, and then we came back and went straight to bed, you know? And I think I looked at my phone to see what was going on. I made a comment to somebody.
I sped it up, by the way, guys.
Went back to bed. I didn't wake up until 8 o'clock. Like
So
30 minutes ago, I woke up. I'm just letting you know.
I just want to get to the part she's talking about, so I sped it up right here. I'll slow it down when we get there.
I had that much sleep. It wasn't all in one sleep. You know, I have that 2 o'clock waking up thing and then going back to sleep, but that's more sleep than I think I've had in some of the weeks. I'll be honest with you. And of course, I freeze everything when I leave out of town. I freeze my milk, I freeze my bread, I freeze anything that's sitting out that can be frozen and unfrozen when I get back to preserve it, so I don't have to keep buying, you know, groceries and stuff like that. So I get up this morning, and usually I take the milk out of the freezer and put it in the refrigerator. And you know, by morning I'll have some milk. At least it'll still be a little frozen, but I'll have something for a latte. Well, I forgot to take the milk out of the freezer and put it in the refrigerator. So now I have no latte this morning. The one thing I was looking forward to when I got home, the one thing I didn't get the whole time I've been gone, right? A latte. And so this is the coffee of champions this morning, a Coca-Cola Zero. I need caffeine. I got no milk. So we're going to the next best thing. So welcome to the Coca-Cola Club. I'm just going to say people are probably going to talk about that one, okay?
Okay.
It's okay being the coffee club. Well, once you start going to the cola club, people are
Okay,
going to look at it a little
Betty,
sideways. You know, we know Clue knows the judge. We feel that
Okay.
himself, but I think if I'm piecing some of the stuff 100%. Obviously, I'm a plaintiff in it, but you know,
Here we
we're
go.
taking direction from an attorney, right?
We're talking about her
So-
being in court the other day, and when the judge recused himself because he was threatened. Listen up.
I am going to, because you got to look at it this way. So I'm not sure what happened with the whole judge recusing himself, but I think if I'm piecing some of the stuff together, and if it is about the video I did, which I don't think it is, because he was talking about getting death threats by phone and email, but you know what? He wasn't very clear. So I don't know if he was, you know, no Clue knows the judge. We feel that there was already ex parte communications going on long before, you know.
They know Clue knows the judge.
This. And so him recusing himself was a good thing. I jumped all over it. I don't want that man presiding over me. There's something wrong with him. He does not like me. I don't care. I don't know him. I really don't care. I think it was a great option for me, and I think I made the right decision. And of course, you know, most people have their egos kind of ding for temper tantrums. And I don't know if that temper tantrum was for me or if he's really getting death threats. I don't know. I don't trust these people in this county. Everybody knows that. What I can tell you is if related to that video that was spliced all together, had two different subject matter topics and tried to imply that I'm threatening a judge, they just committed a crime, because that just interfered with proper judicial process. And if I find out that's what the case may be, I will be pushing for the proper people to be held accountable for that, because I know exactly who manufactured that video, spliced it together.
And we're going to watch it.
And we will have the emails of the people and the telephone numbers of the people that called that judge. So if they interfered and literally started emailing him stuff to interfere with because the judge cannot have ex parte communications. You cannot bias the judge with emails and stuff like that, because they're forced to recuse themselves. And if I find out that this team of misfits, including Clue, that knows the judge, we've got her saying that she knows the judge very, very, very well. If we find out that they're the ones that Chris and Katie Proudfoot's clique of people are disrupting court proceedings, my attorneys and I will have absolutely something to say about that. So I pray to God that that's not going on. And I pray to God that they're not going to do that again, because if they do, I will be demanding charges. I will be demanding people be held accountable. You cannot disrupt judicial process. It is a crime in this country to do. I don't know if it's a misdemeanor. I don't know if it's a felony, but I have to think if you're continuously doing it, it will rise very quickly to a higher criminal element. But I did see where the video originated from. That has been sent over to my attorney.
And yeah, I'm just going to say, I'm not going to say it.
Now, again, we don't know what it's about, but I have to take all precautions necessary in case that's what they did. You did split. You could see differently that there were two totally different time frames, totally different areas, me in totally different clothes, and you could see it was spliced together. Because it's coming out of my mouth, and I don't really forget a whole lot. Dates and, you know, gets a little hairy and stuff like that, but I can always remember certain things. But when it comes to my speech and the conversations I have, because these are shows, and so some of the topics are a little rougher, some of my excitement's a little bit different. I can identify exactly which shows those came from, and they were on completely different subject matters totally. One was based on the laws of Tennessee and the future of the youngsters. One was the content creators willfully hurting an innocent father. Two totally different subject matters, two totally different time frames, and they were spliced together and put out there. Now, they could have heard what the judge said, you know, went and picked these things up and sliced it and started passing that around to drive the narrative. But if that's exactly what they did, and they actually interfered with court proceedings over this bunk spliced video that does not put into context what was really said, that is disrupting court proceedings. You forced a judge to recuse himself. You should be held accountable for liability of that. And we are going to be pushing whoever the parties are that did this are held accountable. You cannot do that. It was wrong. And you literally had a judge recuse himself. So if that's not interfering with court proceedings, I don't know what is. So we'll see how it all goes down. I know he's doing a thorough investigation on this situation, and I hope the proper parties are held accountable for this montage and trying to force a judge to be biased against me, trying to put your finger on the scales of justice. Yeah, we know we're in the lion's den. We know that there's a lot of backdoor dealings going on here, but they also have to realize there's an appeal going on, and the judges have to be very, 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 very careful because all of this stuff will eventually be flushed out at some point. And so I think the judge, in light of what I found out, did the right thing. Sorry, guys, I have to blow my nose. It's still morning. I'm still waking up. I'm sorry. So I just wanted to come here. I was meeting here last night to tell you guys that. Hold on a second. Let me get out of here. I feel like there's something. I don't want to make you guys gross out first thing in the morning. So let me just go ahead and just get myself cleaned up here. Okay, I'm cleaned up. Sorry, my hair was up and now it's down, so it's got a little funky leg because it's usually up. But I came here last night, and of course I was hearing Granny's watching and stuff like that. I didn't watch her. I was just hearing about it. A lot of people, as you know, sent me emails. I don't watch her stuff. I will never watch her stuff. I don't believe anything that comes out of that lady's mouth. She's just pure trash. But I'm not worried, and that's what I told everybody. I don't know what's
They went to an appeal. Yeah. Well, no, they're first going to a grand jury. So what happened was the judge recused himself because right as KP got up on the stand and started talking, suddenly out of nowhere, the judge recuses himself saying he got a threat. And I watched it, and I don't want to offend anybody here. I'm just saying, I don't know what's going on with TL. But she got up on Queen Bee's panel because she was there and said that it was Bullhorn that she thought that threatened the judge. And I was like, what? I don't think Bullhorn, I don't think, I can't see her ever being silly enough to do that. I just can't. It doesn't make sense. So then I saw this, and it's like, and I saw the other videos first. I'm like, it's funny that she's talking about this because I also thought the same thing. I wonder if they sent this into the judge and presented it as a threat from Betty. And it, technology, you can do a lot of great, crazy things these days. I just don't think, I don't know. I don't think she intended to and threaten the judge, but then I want you to listen to the videos. You tell me.
I had to prepare for a meeting with another attorney. So I had, I had a lot of stuff going on, even with my travels back to Florida. So I didn't have time to really pay attention to what was going on in either. And then I found out, hey, Melanie, nice to see you. I'll say hi, you guys.
I agree.
And
but it's getting justice. It's getting justice.
Because it sounds from everything they said
it's just getting justice in this case. It just seems to be a remiss thing here in this state, just in my opinion. It just seems like getting justice. There's a lot of money being paid under it's how it seems to me.
Whatever was dismissed, it was dismissed.
I don't know.
I didn't know how they
doesn't seem like there's justice here.
Anti-SLAPP. It sounds like whatever the rulings were, it's moved up to the appellate court, or moved up to the appellate court. And then we have also it's without prejudice, so they have the right to refile this thing. And I don't know what they're planning on doing with that, but if it's without prejudice, they have a right to refile. If it's with prejudice, that's a little bit of a different story. But either way, it'll all be fleshed out in appellate court. I know that this new age stuff is hard for especially older judges to grasp, but at the end of the day, we're going to keep pushing it. From what I understand, we're going to keep pushing until somebody listens. You have a right to destroy people's lives. You guys are watching in real life what these people are capable of. They are capable of manipulating judges. They're capable of forcing judges off the bench. They're capable of a lot of trauma. They're capable of manufacturing stuff for the appearance. They're illusionists on this channel. That's all they are. They're illusionists. They're the Oompa Loompa Club of illusionists. And that's what they sell, illusions. They don't sell the truth, because if they sold the truth, they wouldn't have problems just letting my speech be.
And who was the one that wanted to control the narrative? That's why they're trying to prove it as a RICO case. A RICO case means to have had to show organized financial business structure. In that's from my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, maybe they didn't have the evidence, but she talks about that. That's a separate issue. It gets thrown out too. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm kind of crossing over here. It's just, I'm just thinking of that when I think of what CP says about wanting to control, the poker card comment, right? Like, what cards is he playing? The word semantics. What semantics is he trying to get out there? What's the story that he's trying to convey? Now think of what she's saying here.
In its full context, instead of clipping I have a show and they clip 20 seconds of an hour-long show and then take another show, an hour-long show, and clip 30 or 40 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up, Ember. We're pulling it up.
And they're trying to manufacture the appearance of improper stuff. I'm going to speak the way I speak no matter what. I don't care if it's a judge. I don't care if it's a lawyer. I don't care if it's a police officer. I don't care if it's just a dirtbag. I don't care if it's these people. I'm going to speak my truth. We are on here every day. We speak about these cases every day. I have a lot of opinions, and I'm entitled to those opinions, whether people like them or not. Whether the opinions I say may embarrass a judge, may embarrass a police officer, may embarrass a guilty parent of child abuse, or what the case may be, even worse.
Let me tell you, I also watch trials, and I hear attorneys covering trials not saying very nice things about the judge, and they don't get threats. Just saying. Just saying.
Right, this boy was abused. There's a history of abuse from his home, and he is all of a sudden missing after his mother was provided an ultimatum, him or me.
Especially in the Karen Reed case.
You know, that's all. What do you deduct from that? We also learned that he doesn't play games. We also learned his stepfather is completely a control freak and would not allow him to have a phone or any type of contact to the outside world. He was isolated from anybody and everybody inside that home. This is a classic domestic issue. This is classic. All the check boxes: isolation, check. Mental abuse, check. You know, we can identify that, because what do you call taking this underwear away and making him stay and live in diapers? That's not abuse. That's not mental abuse of a child. When his father says he has no problem with continent issues over at his dad's house.
Okay, we're going to stop this, and I'm going to pull up here. I just want you to know, I was trying to find this video from the day Betty was in court, but I'm going to pull up the article instead, because it's the same thing. It's just an article, and I want you to understand how dumb this is, because it was a video being reported, local video, when she was in court, and all I heard at the end of the video was KP and CP's lawyer saying to the judge, if she wasn't trying to stalk him, why is she using hashtags? Okay, that's not how it works, people. Okay, so let's just read this, and then I'm going to play you those videos. This family of the missing Sumner County teen, SebastianRogers, made their case Wednesday afternoon against a YouTuber who is covering the case. They claim Bullhorn Betty stalked and harassed their family despite orders of protection. SebastianRogers' case gained national attention from news outlets and social media users after he went missing in February last year. YouTuber Andrea Griffin, also known as Bullhorn Betty, was one of these social media users. Sebastian's mom and step-grandparents claim that Griffin has stalked and harassed them. Well, we showed the video the other day of JLR, and it looked like both he and JLR at the time, and I've talked about this since it happened. It's not the first time I bring this up to what happened to Bullhorn, and it's not the first time I comment on this, because this is a freedom of speech issue. We are all in trouble, and I know firsthand, because I'm Canadian. We've got laws that the current government have put in place that I don't do Facebook and all of the social media platforms. We aren't allowed to get the real news in Canada. Okay. It's really happening here. And so I would hate to see this happen in the United States. So Sebastian's mom and step-grandparents claim that since then, Griffin has stalked and harassed them, but threats put the court hearing on pause. This court has received threats as a result of granting this order of protection, in which those are under investigation for threats made against the bench. General Sessions Court Judge Ron Blanton explained, "For those reasons alone, I will recuse myself." The hearing was passed on to a different judge overseeing the alleged stalking and harassment case. Sorry, I had to take a sip. For about an hour on Wednesday, Katie Proudfoot and Chris Proudfoot, the mom and the stepfather to Sebastian, testified against Griffin, claiming she violated the terms of 3 orders of protection. Court documents state that Griffin has 6 violations related to the protection orders. After this case is said and done, I will be going after the Proudfoots and the Bowerstocks for damages, Griffin said in her YouTube video. They allege that Griffin went on live on YouTube in August to talk about the family and included full names in hashtags. Are you kidding me? YouTube gives you hashtags, suggested hashtags, so your video gets viral. It has nothing to do with contacting a parent. OMG. Are you tagged in this video? Assistant District Attorney General representing the Proudfoots, Eric Malden, asks. I am, Katie responded. Is your full name tagged in this video? Malden continued. It is, Katie confirmed. Griffin is reporting a bunch of lies, Christopher expressed. She is harassing me and harassing my family. Attorneys for both sides argued about intentions and what is included in the First Amendment. If she didn't intend for Chris Proudfoot to view the video, why would she hashtag Chris Proudfoot, Malden said. If she didn't intend for Katie to see the video, why hashtag Katie? OMG. You cannot be serious. Please do some research. Like, if this goes forward based on people not actually understanding what hashtags do, this is really quite crazy, in my opinion. This is First Amendment protected speech attorney representing Griffin, Nick Schellenberg, said. There has to be some action by Miss Griffin to direct that to the petitioners, and the statute clearly says it's only a violation if the defendant knowingly does that. This case was bound over to a grand jury. I don't think that was the right defense. Seriously, I'm not a lawyer. I just don't think that was the right defense. The order of protection is still in place for all parties, and the judge ruled that she can say the Proudfoot's names in her coverage, but will face consequences if she steps over the line of protected speech. Well, that's what the hearing's about. We're going to find out what protected speech means in the good old state of Tennessee, aren't we? Oh, God, help us. Okay, so now let's get into the videos that they made up. Let's see the videos. Let's see the videos that they made up. Let's pull those up now. These are all fun and dandy until, till it's not.
Harassing Christopher and granted the order of protection. The judge cited the creation of a t-shirt with Christopher's face on it and the posting of flyers with the alleged intention of gaining attention from Christopher.
Remember that
as
video?
the reasoning.
Remember that?
She is an investigative journalist and that she reports on news and commentary. Somewhere along the line, this turned not into a pursuit to find Sebastian Rogers. It turned into a personal vendetta. It's interesting that you came to Sumner County to help assist in finding Sebastian Rogers, but there's been really very little testimony by you of what you've done other than harass Miss Proudfoot and Mr. and Miss Bowersox.
Okay, watch it.
When it happens to somebody that they love. And I pray to God it wakes them up in that county. The judge's grandchildren, I pray to God his grandchild has to go through something I'm going through. Because my family has to watch me go through it. And he didn't give a shit about me.
I hope he looks at his grandchildren because he has a right to uphold the law, whether he likes me or not, and do the right thing. But you know what? If he needs a Supreme
Wait, was that a veiled threat, Betty, to a judge?
I hope he looks at his grandchildren because he has a right to uphold the law, whether he likes me or not, and do the right thing. But you know what? If he needs a
Why does he need to look at his grandchildren? I want to play that once again. Like, what is this creepy shit here, Bets? This probably isn't smart to be doing to a judge, an elected official. What the hell? Are you okay, Betty?
I hope he looks at his grandchildren because he has a right to uphold the law, whether he likes me or not, and do the right thing. But you know what? If he needs a Supreme Court to or appeal to slap him into common sense, I don't know.
I hope it happens. Like at this point, I don't care if it gives me a bad juju or bad vibe or it makes me look bad. But I hope everything that they're giving me, I hope their children. I don't want them to go through it. I want somebody that they love to go through it. I absolutely hope that somebody that they love go through exactly what I'm going through. And maybe when they sit there and watch somebody else struggle with it, maybe they will realize how detrimental their actions were. But I don't even wish it upon them. I wish it upon the people they love. That's what I wish. And pray for it. I'm going to actually pray for that. And people may say that's sacrilegious. I'm an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. God knows that. My preacher knows that. My church knows that. My people know that. And I pray to God that they get everything. And I don't want it to them. I want it to somebody they love. I want their children, their grandchildren. That's where I want it to happen. That's where I want it to happen. And when they see that, they can hear me resonating in the back of their ear because they watch this show. And all I'm going to simply say is that's karma. That is absolutely karma. And you deserve every bit of it. And it's such a shame that you allowed that to happen to your child because you wanted to do that to somebody else. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Well, you know, maybe their children will get bullied and they can see what they've done. You know, I don't know. And they can drag this. I don't really care. Put me on every single hate channel. Oh my God, she wants bad things to happen to children. Hey, you know what? You guys are raising them, not me. You're raising them, and you're raising them to show them hate, and I really don't care. I don't care. You know, to each their own. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I hope what they're doing to me happens to somebody that they love. I said I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Yeah, I do. I do now. I do now. And you know what? I'll be in church. I'll be in church later today, and I'll be just fine with that. Right? I won't be there. I won't be able to be there all the time, but I'm gonna pop in. I'll be listening while I'm driving. I'll tell you that. But it doesn't even matter. It doesn't change my faith. It doesn't change anything. And I still wish that they have to deal with what they put me through. See how I roll? Barbaric like that. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So, just saying.
I have reciprocity, and there's also even the a sheriff in Tennessee, in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Sumner County Sheriff, told me that we have reciprocity with Florida, and he definitely recommended me having my gun on me at all times because how crazy people are in this community. That was from the officer. I told him that. So I was actually considering going and getting a 380 while I was there just in case, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going to be leaving here in a few days. I didn't know what the process was, and I didn't want to have to be, you know, dealing with all the BS. But, you know, I think I am going to get either a short 9 or 380. I just want like a 5-shot, just something small and simple that I can carry like in my bra or something like that nobody can see, that I can pull out in need. I don't have to agree with that judge, and that judge doesn't have to like me.
You don't have to agree with what the judge says, but you do have to follow the judge's orders.
But what we will do is we will go over him, under him, or around him. If he wants to keep violating rights, it's what it is. So it frustrates me. I don't trust him, and I don't like him. I can tell you from where I'm standing, I don't like him. He can sit there and judge me all day long. If I don't really have respect for somebody, their judgment upon me ain't nothing. You know, it just isn't. I don't like them. I don't care for them. I think their county is corrupt as hell. Think that they have some major problems, and I'm going to make them do what they want to do. They want to shut me up. The only way you're going to shut me up about a interest case is violating my First Amendment rights and throwing me in jail. And if that's what the judge wants to be known for, God bless him. But they'll deal with the repercussions of his actions at some point. You know, I'm fine. I will be fine. Do I want to go to jail? Of course not. Will I go to jail? You're damn right.
Okay.
You're damn right. I'll do my freaking time gracefully.
Now, everybody heard it. Betty said she will do her time gracefully.
Gracefully. And you know what? It's an honor to go to jail fighting for a 15-year-old boy against a corrupt system that wants to kowtow to people that probably disappeared him. Now, Sumner County, you can come and arrest me.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So if that's what was sent. Whoops, hold on. Sorry, y'all. What's playing? Sorry, it just went to the next one. Okay, we got another one for you here. I think it's just a shorter one. I hate to say it, but you know, her haters is straight sent all over the judges over to see. I think so too, but you know, it's also, I don't dislike Betty. I just wouldn't give them the ammo. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have given them the ammo. There's some frustration things that have probably been pieced together. I'm afraid, I'm fearful for her that they're going to see it differently. The judge is going to see it that, you know, not in favor of her. I'm just a little worried about it for her. That's just all, you know, no, I know. I agree. Okay. So they did piece together a bunch of different stuff. There's a shorter one here I'm going to pull up now. I think it's basically the same like clips, but just a shorter version. And then we're going to go on to something else that I just want to talk about, but we don't want to get heated. Oh, hang on. I got the same one up. Oh, same one up. Let me pull. Here we go. I think it's the same one, but just a shorter version. Let's just see in case there's a little bit of a different clip, because this is just a minute and 21 seconds.
Of their ways when it happens to somebody that they love. And I pray to God it wakes them up in that county. The judge's grandchildren, I pray to God his grandchild has to go through something I'm going through. Because my family has to watch me go through it. He didn't give a shit about me.
I hope he looks at his grandchildren, because he has a right to uphold the law, whether he likes me or not, and do the right thing. But you know what? If he needs a Supreme
Wait, what is his wait? Was that a veiled threat, Betty, to a judge?
I hope he looks at his grandchildren, because he has a right to uphold the law, whether he likes me or not, and do the right thing. But you know what? If he needs a
Why does he need to look at his grandchildren? I want to play that once again. Like, what is this creepy shit here, Bets? This probably isn't smart to be doing to a judge, an elected official. What the hell? Are you okay, Betty?
I hope he looks at his grandchildren, because he has a right to uphold the law, whether he likes me or not.
He doesn't have a
do the
right. He has
thing.
an obligation. It's not his right.
You know what? If he needs a Supreme Court to or appeal to slap him into common sense, I don't know.
So y'all, now that you've seen that, what do you think? No worries, sweetie. We're going to talk about one more thing. And then I know I have mixed feelings about it. I think she probably did say some things she probably in the moment out of anger, and they, probably took advantage. I think it's just, I don't think it's meant to be a threat either, Krista. It's just, will they take it that way? You have to bear in mind, they don't know the facts we know. They don't know her. They don't know her from Adam. And I don't know, I'm just a little bit, I just don't know. I hope it's going to be okay for her. I just don't have a good feeling. And anyway. Okay, y'all. So the next thing I want to talk about is very controversial. Okay, very controversial. So we're going to just briefly, I'm going to show you. I'm not playing this because I don't want to play this video. I just want you to know, I'm going to show you the thumbnail. And this is 218. Hold on. This is another channel that I'd never heard of. I just saw this People Need to Know the Truth flashed over. And she's talking about dog and the reward, I think, in this one. But she says in the next video that during her live, when she's talking about the outcome of the RICO case, that she gets a call on her next live, which is, I'll pull that up. I'm just showing you. Oh, sorry, that's the same one. Okay, which she just did. I think it was earlier today or yesterday. Let me pull up this, where she claims, I'm not playing it, I'm just telling you what's happening, because I just want to make a comment about it. I was going to play them, but I'm like, So in this one, she talks about, if you want to go listen to it all, it's 2 hours. And that was 5 hours ago. She talks about how Dog and Seth were calling her. They've never made an attempt to reach out before, ever. And during the live, where she's exposing the truth of the RICO update, she said Seth and Tony were calling her, and she had us listen to a voice, which sounded like a voice message, where they were trying to get her to stop talking about the RICO. And I don't know her. I'm not talking disparagingly about her. She has her own opinion, and I don't even know the full story. So I really don't want to speak about her. But I do think Seth's trying to put out fires over this. And maybe that's why he's now, because apparently he came on and talked about her and this on Justin's last night. I don't know if any of you were on it, but apparently they came into the chat and were talking about her, this woman, and this video on Justin's last night. So they're trying to spin the narrative away from what her opinion is. And so don't attack her, don't attack me. I don't think my gut instinct, which is what this whole channel is about, is not as nefarious as she thinks. She's miffed. She's miffed, and that's okay. I don't know what happened. I'm not judging. So her opinion is different. I am just saying, I talked very briefly about the RICO. We didn't get into it. I've not even read the documents because one, to me, that's not a Fifth Amendment issue, and that's more in the dark side that I just don't want to get away into. Like, I just try to stay clear of all that here. Do I think they've made some mistakes at night and dog? Yes, I do. Is it really detrimental to the case, the mistakes they've made? I don't really know. But I do surely know that dog has brought a lot more awareness to it. I don't think he has any ill intentions. I don't think that man with a reputation like Dog's would associate himself with people without doing some investigation. And I don't think he would want to tarnish his reputation. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense. Did we all have some opinions about TikTok Tony back in the day? Yeah. But I think in my opinion, I think more highly of him now than I did before. I don't know him personally. I don't know what she's discovered. I do know I found some things out myself that I did share way back in the fall on this channel, and I got so much hate on it, I took it down. And it wasn't really anything more than just the drama about the truth serum. And there are some things that are a little alarming about at night. I'm not going to say anything more than that. No, okay, sweetie. No, I know, Della. You said that earlier, and I don't know if you're not understanding me, but I think I've said that 3 times now, that she was simply just reading the RICO results. I don't think I've said anything differently than that. So I don't know why you keep saying differently, but this is my 3rd, if not 4th time I'm going to reiterate. All she was doing was reading the RICO judgment, and she's concerned why they were calling her during a live to interrupt her live to tell her to stop, is her assumption, I'm guessing. And now they were talking about it on Justin's. I don't even know what they said last night in Justin's. I'm not trying to get in the middle of all that. I don't really, quite honestly, give a rat's you know what about any of that. All I'm saying is I don't pick up anything nefarious for why they don't want the RICO decision talked about. I think they don't want the RICO decision talked about, not because they've got anything to hide, because we are truly dealing with some really effed up, dark effing human beings here. And I'm going to say it with a lot of freaking emotion. These people are fucked, and they are dangerous, and they are bullies. And giving them the ammunition to run with the narrative that the RICO has to go back is just not gameplay when you're a team player. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion. Doesn't make her right or wrong, but that's why I think they were calling her to say, just stop. We don't want to bring highlights to anything negative. Like, you're not going to bring your baseball players in and, in the middle of a game, if you're a coach or football, and say, you fucking sucked. Now go out and do better. I mean, I know some do, but I'd like to think, hey, here were your strengths. Here's where we need to tighten it up. I think that's a better angle from a coach. So I just think whether or not you think they did the RICO thing is truly none of my effing business. I don't know. Do I think there is some payments going on? Yeah, you're darn right. I think some people are being paid. Look at how many people have gone from the green team to the black team, the dark side. TL, Dolly, there's been a lot of them. JLR, what the dang is really going on here? There is something going on, and it involves money. And I guarantee you that there is something going on. They would not have taken their dollars, and an attorney is not going to waste his time without some evidence. They have to have some evidence. It would never have gotten this far. Now, that's just my opinion. So and Seth Rogers gets to decide. I don't agree with a lot of his decisions, but that's his decision. These are the people that he's put his faith and trust into. And I don't think they've got an ounce of ill will towards Seth or Sebastian Rogers. Not an ounce. Other than I don't think they're paying the reward out. I don't qualify, nor do I give a shit. As much as I could use the money, this is not about the effing reward. This is about getting Sebastian home and getting justice. So I'm not speaking ill of her at all. At all. All I'm here to say is I think the reason they were calling her to stop, my spidey sense tells me, was simply to ask her to be a team player in downplaying and not bringing attention to things that will empower and embolden and inflare the bullies. The bullies need to be batted down, not brought up. They need no more power. They've got way too much power, in my opinion, already. Do I sound pissed off? Yeah, because I want to make sure that I am not misunderstood here. I am not speaking against her. She can have her opinion. She's entitled to it. I just have a different one. I'm going to be a game player, and you'll be damn sure I am never going to defend anything those evil effing people say or do ever, ever, ever. And I don't care if they have to get dirty back at them. They should get dirty back at them. Because when you want to be in the pigs with the mud, sometimes you got to join them in the mud to beat them at their own game. I'm sorry, but that's kind of where I'm at. I don't even care if they gave that little effer the truth serum. In fact, I'd want to sit there and watch it happen, you little pisshead. Speak your fucking guts. Excuse my language, but man, I am so fed up with this. I'd probably take that truth serum and I'd jab it in his skull 15 times myself. I'm so mad at that man. I've had enough with the games. I've had enough with the effing games. So, yeah, I am passionate, man. I am so tired. I was the victim of the justice system myself, and not anywhere in the way poor Seth Rogers and Sebastian Rogers have been victimized. They have been victimized by this fucking failed justice system. Jesus, Murphy makes me mad. Man, you guys have not heard me get mad like this, I don't think ever, except for yesterday and today. Because I am so done with these effers. Mother effers. They don't deserve. They are the lowest of the freaking low of life. Who makes fun of a grandmother? They made fun of us when Robin was in the chat. Who? What? And why? What is wrong with you people? They're just the lowest of the freaking low. Absolutely. The lowest of the low. So I agree. Let's not bring attention to any losses from the darks, from the wins from the dark side and losses from the green side. You've got to keep our head high and fight these effers with everything we can. I'm sorry, but that's what it's come down to. That is exactly what it's come down to, in my opinion. Because they have, unfortunately, looks like they've got the justice system on their side. Just looks that way, in my opinion. Okay, we're going to get on to what True Crime Time Buzz said. Seth told her, with respect to all this, I think, and then I'm going to end it there. I'm going to calm myself down first. But man, I've had enough. Had enough.
Has brought in a team. Excuse me. Seth has brought in a team that has remained through threats and many of the other things that have gone down. And if you recall in the beginning, Seth had people who were supporting him and
Whispering
surrounding
Winds.
him.
I'm
Some with
just so
malintent,
livid. I'm going to
doing
breathe in a
things
minute. I'm
that
just livid.
a father in grief and searching,
I
maybe
know,
not
it makes me
aware of
so
at the time.
furious.
Also, threats coming, so his teams were leaving. But he developed a team through all of that. That is,
Let's not forget who threatened the searchers looking for this little boy. Who was the person threatening searchers? Just wild.
dedicated.
Yeah, well,
diligent,
I think people are scared and being threatened and being bought off. Just my opinion. Just my opinion.
in searching for Sebastian and won't be deterred. And it began with, my friends, Tony Nathis coming in and standing by Seth's side.
I'm going to speed it up a bit.
Because Seth asked him to. That is why. And we're going to get to that. But before I do, I want to explain something. When I say Seth asked him to, Tony wouldn't be here if Seth did not want him here. Seth is not being manipulated by Tony. Tony is there supporting
Not today, Mary.
Seth's
This is
goal.
coming from me.
He's there for Seth.
But I am channeled that child
And
enough to
because
feel his
Seth
heart
asked-
and feel his pain. And yeah, that is part of why I'm so angry, because I sobbed like an idiot in front of everybody on a live with snot coming out of my nose, weeping like a 2-year-old because I felt Sebastian's pain, and it's been more than once. So yeah, if I am irate, yeah. It's
Him
yeah.
to be there. Okay? Because Seth is not manipulated by anyone. And Seth does decide who he works with. That's his right. But please understand, for instance, and I'm going to bring it up because it has been talked about numerous times, I'm hearing. So I'm just going to discuss it. Several months ago, another channel, Julie, came on was on, and she had put out a petition. And I'm sure you have all heard this. You haven't heard it from me. However, it was shortly after Seth Rogers, the father of Sebastian, and Sumner County had open lines of communication to Seth, Sumner County had, working together, sharing with him their talk in communication.
Thanks,
And that
Mary.
hadn't been happening.
Hugs and
Now
much
imagine
love to you too.
you don't know where your son is. You know there's an investigation, but there's no communication with law enforcement. So when you get that communication, it's precious to you. So it had just happened, but a petition went up that was against the local law enforcement, something that was going on. I do not recall the exact content of it. And I will say my thank yous, friends, in just a bit.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for all your
Yes,
support.
absolutely.
And
It's been
that
an
petition
experience for me.
concerned Seth Rogers
Thank you,
because it
Whispering
was not
Winds,
the stance
sweetie. Thank you.
Seth stood for or took. So because they did not have Julie's number, they reached out to me, and I contacted
Yes,
Julie
Marie. Dear Marie, yes.
on Seth's behalf and said, "Hey, Julie,
I think CP's about to blow. I think it's going to get scary if it doesn't come down soon, where it's getting to a point where it feels like someone's going to blow.
Seth would like
We're
you to
almost
take on
done.
that petition because it's nothing. He doesn't stand for it, and he's afraid it'll be the wrong message if you put that out there." And
Oh gosh,
it wasn't
I hope
bullying. It
not.
was just
Whispering
a
Winds.
statement, and obviously it was taken a little bit of the wrong way.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get to.
And we're going to talk to Tony. The recent events that have come out has completely 100% validated his decision not to work with Julie.
I don't
So
even know who Julie is.
that is why.
Is this the
And it
Julie
doesn't
we were just
matter.
playing?
We are
Not the-
here. For instance, if
Is this
Seth called,
sorry, is this the Julie is that the channel she's talking about? I don't know.
and said,
I'm
"Jay,
lost.
take it down.
Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Whatever it may be. It could be a post, a live, a video. If Seth did that, I would take it down. Because even if I didn't agree or didn't.
That's what I was saying at this point. It's like, it's how I feel about it at this point is it's so dire now. You got to pick a camp. You got to pick a camp. You cannot let these evil people win. That's just how I feel. Get on the side of good and just there's no choice now. I don't know, Mary. I certainly hope you're right. I think Mom might be a bigger fish than that, though.
It maybe felt like I thought it was okay. I would be taking it down because the father of the missing child is the reason I'm here. So we need to remember that. Please, please, please remember this is about Sebastian.
Yes.
It's not about, believe me, if every single channel was here for the same goal and we were all working together, how happy that would make everyone. Seth, everyone. But it's not the case right now. But we needed to clarify.
Right now, it's
okay?
never been. Sorry,
Because
no offense to her. Sweet, I love her. I love her. She's my newfound, like my new thing. I love her. Jay is her name, but I just think it's been divided from very early on.
Loyalty is important right now, and it's sad that we are going through this, but it's true. And
yes, it is.
Has taken a lot of hits.
Loyalty is true right now.
Throughout
It's exactly what I'm saying. Pick an effing
we
side.
Understand that people very high up are starting to receive information about this case, and they're shocked, right? But that's why Seth is not working with Julie, because she would not take the petition down, and he was very concerned about the lines of communication closing with the lead investigating agency.
Okay, see, I didn't even know she put a petition up. See, why get involved in that? Okay, I'm going to shut my mouth. That's all I have to say. Why get involved in that?
His son, Sebastian
Rogers.
Rogers.
That's all I have to say.
He doesn't speak with her regularly.
I know, sweetie. I know. I get it, but
nor has Tony spoken with her. Okay, Seth has never spoken to Julie, he said, and nor regularly does he speak to Julie because his first request was denied. That's it. That's all it was. Okay?
I know, DeMarie. I know. Seth doesn't want to hear it.
He is the father.
I do understand that too. He needs to keep hope, and I do get that too.
And he now feels he was 100% made a good call because of what is going on. He remembers when Julie was doxxed with her family and her kids, how it felt, how upsetting it was to her. And now we're hearing that she wants to dox Tony. Well, Seth is really upset about that because Seth asked Tony to be here. And Tony has remained through all of this. At Night has remained through all of this. Dog's team through all of this. They're not leaving, and that's important when you're searching for your child. All this other stuff is nonsense, but you can't not pay attention to it, right?
Well, this is new for us. Yours truly doesn't usually come on here and blow a gasket and talk about this stuff because I can't blow a gasket every day because it just makes me that furious. But yes, this is important. Pick a side, people. It's evil versus good, in my opinion. And the evil need to be cut down from the legs, the knees. Sorry, but it's true. They need to be taken out. Not as a threat in physical. I mean, their power, their voice. I better be careful how I phrase this. Their power, their voice, their manipulation, their lies, their deception has to come to an end for Sebastian Rogers' sake and Seth's sake.
And there was
gotta stop.
Right? Working with her. And then now this situation, this flip. Okay? So that's why he is careful. And
yes,
when
it
he
is,
asks for
Amber.
And it's denied, that's it. He moves on and he keeps going for his goal. Okay? Now, welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for being here.
And y'all, I'm glad and I support and love you that support her. If you are a follower of hers of this Julie, you know, good on you. I'd hope you would support me too. You know, so good on you. Proud of you for doing that. I just have a different opinion is all I'm saying. So we're going to hear the last of this, and then we're going to, a few more minutes, and we're going to
I want to talk
call
a
it
little
a
bit before we
night.
get into Tony about the bulletin boards.
No, you
The
can't,
bulletin
Tracy. I've
boards
tried. YouTube
are
doesn't
going up.
care.
Many more. Many more. They are not coming down. They are going across the nation because this young man, Sebastian Rogers, deserves visibility.
Yeah, so there's the end of the conversation she has about that with what she wants to say about that. So we're going to call that a day on that. And the billboards, you know, why these, you know, okay, I get there's some comments there that are probably, if we're being really honest, let's be really honest. They know, we all know. If you're in the know, you know. 90% of us know the CPs and the KPs have something they're not divulging. We all know that. Most of us, unless we're on the dark and we're being paid or we're blind or I don't know. Can't even, I'm not even going to find a word for it. So we all know. So yeah, do they figure what the putting those expressions on that was going to be like, gonna throw CP into a rage and a cascade? Yeah, I'm sure they did. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It's time he blows his top, hopefully in the presence of cuffs. So yeah, he's being triggered. What does he have to hide? What does he care? If he doesn't have anything to hide, he wouldn't be triggered by the billboards, would he? No, he wouldn't. He's being triggered, and that's exactly what they want because they're hoping he's going to make a mistake because he's going to blow his top soon. I just feel it. Anybody else feel he's going to blow his top soon? I think he's going to, and let's just hope nobody gets hurt. Or maybe KP will see how dangerous he is and get some sense knocked into her and run to the FBI and tell them what she knows because he ain't going to protect her. When the time comes to it, KP, he ain't going to protect you. And man, oh man, neither's a jury going to believe your story when they hear all the shifting stories and timelines and nothing adds up and all the hate. Ugh. I will do a poll on the judge threats, but I will do that, Kitty. Just remind me the other day because I'm not going to do cards today. But I pretty much, I think I know. Do I think that it was Bullhorn that sent her own video to damn herself? No, I don't think she's that stupid. I don't think anybody would do that to themselves. I think these idiots, I want to call them NUTSs. I think these idiots put that video together and sent it to the judge. You know? And yeah, except I'm screaming and I'm innocent in all this because I'm just so furious. But I think that's what happened. And I hope they get caught. But do I think they're going to get caught? No. I think that some judge who doesn't know the true crime world, kind of like politics. You can watch mainstream media and think you know a vibe of a politician like we're dealing here in Canada. But if you don't get into the dirt, like in the true crime world, you don't really know what's going on. They have no clue, these judges, really what's going on in this case. They're going to get what's presented to them legally. They're going to make a judgment on Bullhorn and not have ever known what she truly did. And the fact that that judge said that, my mouth dropped. I'm telling you, I could probably put a better defense up because there's no freaking way that if Betty was my client, that judge wouldn't understand how hard that woman works. I don't care what you have to say about her. She works harder than any YouTuber on this channel with this case, in my opinion. Because let me tell you, channeling is way harder. What I did every night when I channel and do cards is way harder on my energy body than talking about what other people are talking about. That's been easier for me tonight than what I do on other nights. Betty doesn't even just pull up other people's shit and talk about it. She does the research. She works her freaking ass off. And how that judge didn't get that blows me away. Blows me away. So I don't know, man. I'm so angry all the way around. I'm so angry all the way around. And I've been on the other side of the injustice, and man, it's infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating. So, enough said. I think we're going to end it there. I don't know. I'm going to go have an Epsom salt bath and put some earbuds in and meditate because I need to calm down. I'm just, I know, Amber. I know, sweetie. It's just craziness. It's crazy from every single angle. The fact that YouTube allows bullying is crazy. The fact that, yeah, they are absolutely trying to get him triggered. And but I think they should be going after KP. I think KP is the one that's going to crack. You and me both. You and me both. I don't know. I just, gosh, somebody crack and go and tell the truth. It's just, how do we make that happen, y'all? How do we make that happen? Her lawyer should spoke up. Well, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. My dad was a lawyer. I've worked a lot with lawyers. I've worked a lot in strategy and negotiation. I won international sales awards. So I'm not exactly fluff when it comes to negotiation. And I was a single mom when I won all these awards. I worked my fanny off. And I know a bullshit line when I hear it. I agree, Leanne, 100%, Leanne. It's crazy. I feel sorry for the people that can't see the true colors. I know. It's like, oh, God. Well, they say like people attract like people, right? Well, look at who the defendants, if they ever get to jail or court, CPKP, and look who they hang around with. Look who the people that are on that side, look at their criminal pasts. It's not great. It's not great. They're all a bunch of, like Betty says, sorry, they're all, in my opinion, all have some shady pasts. It's going to leave it there. With respect to crime and the law. So that ought to tell us everything we need to know. So, and these stupid people that come on these channels, I'm not even going to mention their names. There's some of them that don't get into the bashing, but they're still they can't believe that, they just don't side with Seth. It's I just don't understand. How blind and stupid could you be? Every professional, retired body language expert, law enforcement, deception detective, cold case, all of them, Ron, Duty Ron, there's not a person, Nancy Grace, that knows true crime that thinks these two are telling the truth. Jury of their peers. Let's just remember, we are on the side of the majority. So when and if they ever get to a court of law, the jury of their peers should be a representation of what the collective thinks. So I'm going to end it there. Sorry for my rant. It's everybody wishing everybody a long, wonderful, happy Easter holiday, but we will be back Monday and then every day thereafter next week, Monday through Friday at 4 or 5 p.m. Make sure you got your notifications on and go to the very beginning of this if you want to hear the updates for the channel. Yes, with respect to memberships I reduced and everything else. But yes, we will be back on Monday. It's either 4 or 5. Don't be surprised if it's 5 because I'm coming off a long weekend. I'm going to be decluttering tomorrow, babysitting my grandchildren and my dad. And then we're doing Easter. I got to make baked beans. We're doing more of a brunch this year and Easter egg hunt in the bush and making maple syrup and all that. We're kind of doing more of a brunch and a pancake thing because we're all just too tired to make turkey or ham or whatever. And I got my dad who has dementia, my grandkids. I got a lot going on. So I will be back Monday. Happy holidays, everybody. And thank you again for all your support. I truly and truly love all of you. And when I get crazy like that, that's why I got to get back to the cards sometimes because I cannot get this angry. And when I have to channel, I have to meditate. So that's what I need today. Thank you, sweetie. Okay, everybody. Yes, Mob Crew. Is he on? Okay, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Love and light. Happy holidays. Cheers. See you Monday. See you Monday.